What is going on, everybody? I'm your host, Cyrus the Looney. We are here with Primetime 36. Joining me in the comms booth this evening, we have the one and only Mr. Humbledink. How you doing, my man?
I'm excited. I'm excited to be on camera to the Primetime morning. I'm excited to be back to Primetime. I'm excited for this amazing card, and I'm excited for tonight UFC card. Yes, Cyrus. So it's going to be incredible.
A crazy night of fights. I know that the ESFL put on a massive card a little bit before this one, so shout out to those guys coming through with a massive grade. Appreciate you all massively. Hopefully that event went fantastically. They always do, but as you mentioned, that's not the end of tonight's fights there, Humble. We have Primetime 36 here tonight with TD Fadinator, EK Warbsy putting on the Xbox Championship, the Xbox title for Primetime. Obviously FSK Keza, Simple Benny, and just a whole host of other absolute savages lined up with the names like EK Trixie and so on in there. You know it's going to be an absolute phenomenal night of fights there, brother.
100%. You got so many names that I could go through and actually name drop, like Eticus and Rara Rasputin and Big Nigel, just all the way through the card. Purple Urkel, Ned. It's been brilliant from the matchmakers to match up all these guys again and give us such a show. And that being said, should we get down to the first fight?
Yes, sir. So the very, very first one is Mr. Small BX versus King Amazon. It's going to be in the middleweight weight class. These guys are just about ready to go, I do believe. Just waiting for them to get lobbied up as we speak. But I believe these are PlayStation gentlemen, Mr. Humble. I don't know if you've come across them before. I think we've got PlayStation kicking off the night, and then Ned and Purple Urkel also PlayStation guys. So it's always nice to come out with some PlayStation fights. They're always bangers. There's a lot of heavy strikers in the the PlayStation. Under the PlayStation console, I should say, and it always makes for really, really entertaining bouts. I haven't had the pleasure of fighting on that console quite yet myself, but I hear very, very good things, and like I say, they always live up to all the hype with it.
100%. A lot of PlayStation guys, we like to bang. We like to go there and put on a good performance. I do not know either of these guys, but we did just have an incredible update from the icons and middleweights somewhere that they've actually updated for Anderson Silva. So that's going to be a good one, and maybe we get to see him tonight for the first time. There's a few other icons as well, Cyrus, that we might get to see debut in the prime time. And we also got Islam Makhachev in that lightweight division that someone can quite use. I don't know if you've had the pleasure of using any of these guys yet, but at least they've given us some stuff before they start moving on to the UFC 5.
Unfortunately, I haven't, brother. My Xbox Live ran out literally the day before it happened, but I know it's devastating. But no, I look forward to seeing what these guys are able to do. If they do go with any of the new picks, maybe we'll see a couple of these gentlemen making their debuts, in their prime, we should say, or even, like you say, Islam Makhachev when we hit the lightweight division. I have had a very brief update, though. That is that it's going to be LW Gemini stepping up on short notice up against Small BX, as opposed to the gentleman we were saying a moment ago. So without further ado, my man, we're going to get straight into it, and yeah, we're about to see what these guys have got in store for us.
Make your picks, guys, in the predictions chat if you're on Twitch right now. It looks like we're going to have a Robert Whittaker versus Marvin Vittori pick. LW is obviously a great camp as well, and Gemini, he's got that Division 10 badge. Division 10, when you got that Division 10 badge, Division 11 badge, it means you mean business. And a lot of people can get up there right now, but it does mean that you know your way around the game. Am I right there, Cyrus?
Completely agree with you, my man. Simply as you hit the higher rankings, OWC is a little bit different than obviously fighting in a truly competitive sense, but it does give you an indication, like you said, of how well versed somebody is. A lot of the time, if you make it to those higher divisions, you're not going to be, you're not going to be new to the game. You're going to know all of the little tricks to the trade. You're going to know the half guard switches, and a lot of the time you just feel that the higher that people get, the more you see that they don't really miss any shots at all. They're humble. They're a lot more cognizant about their percentages and landing that, and especially on the ground, that's really where the levels seem to be switched up. As you move up and up the rank, up and up the OWC and rankings within the competitive scene.
100%. As you said that, though, I was laughing because myself and I've got every badge, and I don't like to land a good percentage. So, it's 62-3 sometimes. Oh, no, they've lost connection. Hopefully these guys get straight back into it and we can get this match up and running again.
Yeah, we'll give them a couple of seconds there, brother. I'm sure they're going to get straight back into it. As you see, LW Gemini's going to be getting the invite. I think one is streaming, one is hosting. So we'll just take a couple of moments. But while we are, we'll flip back to the full card, have a little bit of a rundown, just speak about that very briefly as we wait for these guys to get lobbied up again with each other. But the next fight up there is going to be Ned up against Purple Urkel. Purple Urkel, a man that really came out and put on fantastic showing in his debut, got an early knockout. We speak about it nearly every time he fights, just because he's an entertaining man to watch throw down in the octagon there, Humble. You always love to see a guy that, you know, has that killer instinct, has the ability to start off a fight, kind of like almost Conor McGregor-esque, no feeling out process required, straight to it, landing all the shots that are needed. And that's what Purple Urkel's been able to do up until now. But Ned has been an absolute killer in his own right, has had fantastic performances in Primetime. So even though that's only the second fight of the entire night, it's going to be one hell of a war between those two gentlemen. I expect it, honestly, to carry on throughout the entire card, Humble. You know, when it comes to the Primetime, we have the Primetime guarantee coined by the mighty Bane. And up until this point, I don't think we've ever failed to deliver. Every single fight is, you know, always top-level competitors. Even if somebody's just finding their feet and trying to get into it, they always seem to pull out little tricks of the trade that you don't get to see, and really dig deep for these wins. And it's what you love to see. You know, these guys come into not just throw down and, you know, kind of get some good hands going, but also pushing for that win and digging deep to do so.
What you want to do, you want to make your name on the Primetime scene as we start this fight with Robert Whittaker versus Aman Vettori. You want to make your name, you want to make a splash in the division. You want to show people there's a lot of competitors in Primetime, in ESFL, and all these other different leagues. You've got to make yourself known to people, and that's how you come out, and you got to swing for the fences sometimes.
That you do, sir, that you do. They are starting very quickly as we speak. Obviously, we're seeing Small BX taking the center of the cage, which I'd like, you know, I like to see, to be honest with you. If you're picking Robert Whittaker, you're going to have an advantage in the speed, probably an advantage in the toughness, although Marvin Vettori showing that he is as tough as nails in his most recent performance up against Costa. So, yeah, you've got to imagine that Vettori's going to want to get this down to the, you know, the ground relatively quickly, though, right?
Yeah, he's got to keep in Whittaker's face. He's got to use that bulldog perk that he's got. And he gets a front kick to the face right there. He's pressing him back. As we said, he lands the uppercut. He's now got him going against the fence. Can he land it? Oh, sure he can. He's got him against the fence. He lets him up. Oh, it could be a mistake right there, Cyrus. But a nice sequence right there for Gemini. And he looks like he's took charge of this round so far.
Yeah, getting knocked down the bow, like I say, may have been a mistake not to jump on him at that moment. You know, really have got to capitalize on your opportunities in fights like this, but he's doing a good job right now of pouring on the pressure. He continues to stack up the damage on his opponent's head, and you can see it continuously blinking on the side of Small SBX. He's having a lot of difficulties with this at the moment.
Yeah, he is. We've got a bit of lag right now, but is that just me, or is it?
Yeah, that's on their end there, brother, unfortunately. I think they may be having some connection issues, but
oh no,
they lost it again. And this is a bit of a shit show to start off. I can't believe that. I was looking forward to that fight, my man.
It was a good fight. It was a good fight. Good start for Gemini there. He took as we were talking about, taking the center of the octagon there. He kind of set some traps right up with Vettori. Unloaded a 4-piece combo. The third shot landed perfectly. The fourth one put him down. Gets that fence, got the follow-up. He probably could have finished the fight right there because he had 2 rocks and a knockdown in this 10-second spell, and could have got the shots against the fence, but decided not to. And maybe we would have seen the end of a fight in the first round right there, but we ended up getting disconnected. And unfortunately, these guys seem to have a bit of a curse at the moment. Yeah. I don't know if we're going to move on to the next one or we want to try again, but
I think we're moving on to the next one. I think that's going to be the play here. These guys have had a little bit of an opportunity to lobby up. Unfortunately, the MMA gods are not allowing it this evening. But that's not to fret. Not to fret at all, Humble. We're going to be moving on to a Big Balls Ned, the man with a plan, who's taking on Purple Urkel. We preluded this fight a moment ago. Purple Urkel, like I said, has fantastic hands, able to anti-grapple when needed, but he's really going to have his work cut out for him this evening. Big Balls Ned had stellar performances in each and every time he stepped in the Primetime cage. Going to be looking to obviously replicate that sort of success going forward here this evening. This one, I do believe, is in the welterweight weight class, and right now they're hovering over Jorge Masvidal and Kamaru Usman, which I think would make some fun picks for this weight class, especially with Purple Urkel going the Jorge Masvidal side of things. I think that man, with the hands that Jorge possesses, he's going to be handing out 3 pieces and the sodas very, very quickly. And obviously Big Balls Ned on the opposite side. If he does decide to go with Kamaru, I think that could also end up being a very intelligent plan for him. The ability to take Jorge down, I don't know if you agree with me, my man, but I think that is just really, really important. Jorge has too much power in his hands. He's really, really good with that boxing and can really cause a lot of problems for his opponents.
I do agree, but I agree to disagree because you've also got the hands of Usman, the 5-star jab. I'm sure he's got a 5-star straight as well, and his boxing's pretty decent. He's got a lot of power in those hands, so sometimes to stand up for Usman, it's very underrated. He does. I understand where you're coming from. He does feel a bit robotic, a bit sluggish, a bit tankish sometimes. But if you can use Usman and get him going in there, you can mix up your grappling, like you were saying a second ago, to add to the striking. And as we just seen in real life, Usman's got those hands, baby. He knocked out Masvidal in that. Is it the first round or the second round? He knocked him out in spectacular fashion, anyway. So maybe Ned's going to pick that Usman and try and knock out Purple Urkel. But you would be right to go to the ground if you were Usman uses his advantages against Masvidal. That would be the smart play. But sometimes, Cyrus, I'm not the smartest of people, and I want to show for the fans every single time.
No, exactly right, brother, exactly right. All right, so without further ado, we are going to jump straight into this next one. I do believe that my camera may be having some issues at the moment, so if that's the case, I do apologize. I'm either going to be frozen up on your screen, or you're going to see my beautiful face in all of its glory. But oh no, he switched it up, my man. He switched up Jorge v. Jorge. These two guys looking to throw bombs this evening.
And you can get your bets on right now, guys. I don't think you've got long left, but 40 seconds to get your bets on. Currently, Ned is ahead with 79% of the betting popular, but Purple Urkel with 21%. Who's going to put the money on him to try and get some money back? But you can see right there's a 1-0 advantage to Ned, but that doesn't mean anything. That could be a disconnect. That could have been anything we just seen in the past game. One of those guys got a loss and a win, but none of them lost, if you know what I mean. So it could mean absolutely anything.
Well, here we go, my man. Here we go. They touch them up to start us out. They're going to get straight to it, working the body nicely. Purple Urkel's done that time and time again in past performances. Does a really, really good job of getting in with those hands, attacking the body. But he's already rocked on the flip side, my man.
Oh my
Looks
God,
like Big Balls Ned is pouring on the pressure right now.
Wow, he's going across the fence right now. He's in survival mode. He needs to get some distance from his opponent. He needs to get some respect as well. And at the moment, Big Balls Ned is doing exactly what it says in the tin. He's standing in the face, showing the balls of steel, and he's landed some beautiful counters so far, Cyrus.
Yeah, he's doing a great job, brother. He's doing a great job. I'm liking the teeps from Big Balls Ned, although he does get crushed on them a couple of seconds ago. Purple Urkel's obviously trying to play the outside game, which he's done in the past. When he sits down on those combinations, though, they cause huge amounts of damage. But so far, Big Balls Ned seems to have all of the answers, my man. He's doing such a good job of catching his opponent on the way in and, catching them taking pictures after they've landed the combinations of their own.
A lot of uppercuts right there as well, and he's going to the body and going to the head. Cyrus constantly switching it up, making Purple Urkel worry about a couple of different options, and then Purple Urkel's freezing in that pocket, as you were saying right there, and I rudely interrupted you. But yeah, he's freezing in the pocket, and then Big Balls Ned's just landing some beautiful uppercuts constantly. We know how damaging they are.
He's continuing to press forward. Obviously, he wants that early knockout at Big Balls Ned. We've seen it time and time again from this man that he really, really likes to, try and get an early finish, much like Purple Urkel. So they've still got 2 minutes left on the clock, but the way they're going, one of them may be out very, very quickly.
Beautiful work right now. That seen a bit more of a feeling out process right now, a bit more of the movement used by Purple Urkel. He's trying to get his distance, trying to get the timing, when to come in, when not to come in. Maybe letting Big Balls shoot off his load, as you would like to say, and try and come back with some of that stamina advantage. Maybe attack the body. But beautiful elbow right there against that fence. He's still against that black line though, Cyrus. Still in that position where you can predict left or right. You can't really go back too much. You can't put the brakes on too much, and you've got less options. Oh!
Gets him sat down once again, jumps in with the overhand. No up kick of doom saving him this time. The shots are bleeding through, just about hanging on. Big Balls Ned is really having a standout performance this evening, doing a great job of bringing the action to Purple Urkel and continuing the momentum he was able to get at the beginning of the round with that early rock. So far, so good for this man. He's going to be feeling really, really confident if his opponent manages to make it out of this one.
Even the ground and pound right there. He's come out like a firecracker. He's not let his opponent off the hook. He's gone after him from start of the bell to the last end of this round, the last 10 seconds. He's trying to get him out of there. And Purple Urkel is hanging on for dear life as he lands a huge knee right there.
Apologies for the task manager. Clipping over the fights, but no, Yeah, no, they're really bringing the action. I wouldn't expect anything less from Gamebred. I mean, anytime somebody picks Gamebred, they're always in entertaining bouts. They normally, normally bring all of the hands, and that's what we're seeing here this evening. Maybe a bit of an adjustment is needed from Purple Urkel. I'd almost, if I was in his corner, be calling for a takedown at this stage. Maybe try to mix it up and get his opponent second guessing, because so far Big Balls Ned seems to have an answer for everything on the feet. Humble landing another beautiful uppercut to his opponent's dome.
It's a smart strategy coming out from Big Balls Ned, because someone usually presses you back to the fence and with forward pressure, especially with boxing, usually attack the body. But he's doing it with uppercuts, so if you go attack that body, you're going to get rocked just like he is right there. So he's kind of predicting your counter to the counter already, and he's got his opponent in survival mode against that fence. Can he get him out of there? Big Ball Nell is smelling the finish right now. He's a shark in water, and he catches him with a left hook. He's going for the left hook again to the body. Can he finish him? He's got him hurt. Big uppercut knocks him out cold.
My God, the uppercut's just being the story of the night with that one, Humble. He continued to land it on his opponent in high vulnerability situations, and then eventually was able to get the job done with it. Great work from Big Balls. He showed some big balls this evening, Humble. That forward pressure was second to none, my man.
Yeah, the big balls came out in handy. He came forward and he didn't stop coming forward. He let him uppercuts that he was landing were the key to the fight, really. The way he set the uppercuts up with the body shots, with the jab, with the straight, with the movement. He did a fantastic job of using a different array of setups for the uppercuts. And obviously, using that forward pressure, like I said, the normal type of counter to that is to go to the body to stop that person coming forward, to give them a bit of a punishment, or kind of land a straight shot sometimes as well. But stop them coming forward with the body shots, and the counter to the body shots is obviously the uppercut. So it's perfect game plan from Ned right there. Great to see him on the winning track again. It'd be nice to see him back in the future in prime time. What a win for him.
Yeah, if he continues to put on performances like that, he's got a bright future ahead of him. It can be, easier said than done, Humble. So many killers in this league as a whole. You're never really going to be in any easy fights by any stretch, but great work by him to pick up that W in the early going. Up next there, we have the one and only Optics up against, is it Vapor Genry? Am I saying that right? I think I'm saying that right.
I believe so. I think it's Vapor. Let's call him Vapor. The Vapor. Yeah, Vapor. It's so much easier. Is that the featherweight division, I believe? Be interesting to see. I don't know too much about these guys. I'm still kind of learning about the Xbox guys, even though it's been months. I'm still kind of learning bit by bit. Unless you're with them and unless you're playing them every single day, it's pretty difficult to kind of get a grasp on who's who, who's doing well, who's not. So as I see them fight more and more, I notice the guys who are doing a really good job. People like the Rasmusputed, Fadinator, Warbsy, these type of guys. Simple Benny, these guys and Yeekus, etc. But as I'm learning about more of these guys, I'm just getting more and more impressed with the Xbox side. I used to think the Xbox was a bit easy. I'm starting to, I've kind of changed my mind a lot actually, especially after I fought Bang Bang. So, it's definitely a very tough division to go into, or tough console to play on.
No, it really can be. Like you said, I mean, I think that's why we're the perfect balance over there, Humble. You're a lot more familiar with the PlayStation side of things and all of the guys on there. Obviously, I'm a lot more familiar with the Xbox guys, and I've been running that, the Xbox leagues for quite some time now. So there are a lot of killers, you're right, and they come out of the works. These two guys are a lot newer, but time and time again, we've seen guys come to really come into their own within primetime MMA, find their feet, and get the job done. And that's what it's really about. It's all well and good beating somebody on OWC or whatever it might be, but getting the work done under the bright lights when you know that you've got people rooting you on or looking to go against you, that's really important. I think it really does make all the difference to be able to rise to the occasion and find the opportunities for your own successes.
Yeah, OWC is technically a kind of like a sparring, if you want to say it is. Like it's almost, there's kind of not a lot of pressure. Obviously, some people put pressure on themselves to climb the ranks, but when you get onto a show, when you get onto a stage where you have to perform and you've got one shot, one opportunity, as you would say, and you have to deliver. You have to come out, and we all know we have bad performances, but it's the consistency, it's keeping the nerves together, it's understanding your game plan, it's studying your opponent beforehand, it's who's going to go that extra mile to kind of get that win. And that's what we look for when you see these competitors, and the best guys know exactly what they're going to do before they even do it. They've already got their game plan in their head, and they're already going to utilize it without thinking.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Right, so as we see in these two, apparently 1-0 to Vapor over there in the featherweight. He's switching up the pick last moment, see who he goes for. There's a lot of interesting picks. Obviously got my favorite, Cub Swanson, but he decides to go Brian Ortega, which is not a bad pick up against Max Holloway, especially if you're looking to implement a little bit of a ground game into it there, Humble. I think it's really, really important. Obviously, especially in featherweight. Max Holloway is an absolute nightmare to deal with, and you know, obviously you have to mix it all together. You can't just rely on your hands going up against a Max.
Really, even Max Holloway thinks Max Holloway is broken on this game. He's come out and said it himself. He obviously is definitely a. He can string combinations together. He's very difficult, especially with the block breaking aspect to deal with. But there is ways that you can kind of get around that. There's people who've kind of come up with good game plans, but at a high level, he definitely has his advantages. And Ortega's kind of the perfect pick to go against him, especially if you're a grappler. If you're used to trying to get them submissions, if you're going to try and take him down, it's great because you do have a lot of options here, and you've got the striking as well.
They are getting at it, as you would expect. Max Holloway doing the majority of the work with the hands early on, as we see a nice takedown attempt from Vapor, but stuffed quite easily by Optics. Now, Optics is a man that likes to talk a little bit of trash in the Discord, likes to hype himself up a little bit, and as a result, he's needed, you know, to come out with a bit of a bang this evening, Humble, which he does. Gets that knockdown. Nice work for him. Staying composed. Decides not to follow it up on the ground, which is a smart move. I mean, quite simply, Ortega is just too dangerous on the mat to even think about jumping on that for the finish.
The combinations are flying out now from Optics. He's trying to get his opponent out of there. He's doing it in a quick fashion. It all started with that block takedown, which was huge as he catches him with a straight right. He gets it back. He's dropped him again. Can he finish his opponent? He's letting him up. Is that going to be a mistake, Cyrus?
Like I said, I think that the damage that Vapor can do off the ground with the submissions and everything else that he has in his arsenal with the rub guard and so on, I understand the reasoning of not following up on the ground, but you are right. You also allow your opponents, you know, a couple of opportunities to get back into that fight, right? And, you know, just like this, he gets him to the mat, now gets that first deny off, and he's looking to pour on the pressure, Humble, and get momentum shifting in his favor.
He's had 2 minutes and 50 seconds on the feet. Now he's going to have 2 minutes and 50 seconds to work on the ground, and he needs to do the same amount of damage that Holloway just did, if not try and finish his opponent with a submission. And that comes with patience. Even though you've just been rocked, even though you've just been hurt and dropped, you need to be able to try and counter your opponent and make a mistake, and then taking one of those submissions, draining the stamina. And so far, Optics is happy just laying on his back and not trying to commit too much to something, and he gets back to his feet.
Nice work. I mean, this is more where he wants to be, right? I mean, obviously, he had a lot of success on the feet early on, and Ortega, as I mentioned, so dangerous. Goes in with the cartwheel kick, partially blocked for Optics. Sorry, for Vapor, but he is, he's eaten a little bit too much damage on the feet. You know, he's doing a good job of getting just out of the way of the final shot, but Max has such a cardio, he's such a cardio machine that he can keep this up for 5 rounds if he needs, and, you know, ultimately, they're only scheduled for 3, so this is where to turn up the pressure.
Yeah, I love the movement so far from Optics. He's doing a really good job of kind of controlling the distance he's striking at. He's deciding when to go, deciding when not to go, and he catches him with a beautiful pullback elbow right there. He's got into a finishing position right now from side. Can he finish him?
And he does. There you go. That was the right time to hop on, right, Humble? We see earlier on his opponent was on his back. If you jump on, you end up in that guard. But when he switched it across, his opponent was sprawled out. Easy shots to be landed. Only really have to worry about that knee bar, you know, from that position, which is pretty easy to watch out for, you know, when you know your opponent's a submission threat.
Yeah, especially unless you get turned over. But still, if you get turned over, you're still in a okay position. He did a good job right there, but we have to question it when someone doesn't jump, when someone doesn't do something at this high level. One mistake can cost you the fight. So if he did go on to lose that might have been one of the reasons, but he did a fantastic job of controlling that fight. No real problems there for Optic. He talks a lot of shit in the Discord, as you said, and he backs it up in the octagon as well. I'm looking forward to seeing him back, coming back to Primetime again, and maybe putting in another performance like that, because that was a really nice performance with Max Holloway.
Completely agree with you. I mean, if he continues to put on performances like that, the very, very bright future ahead of this kid. He did the goddamn thing this evening in a fantastic way. Like I said, the striking was looking pretty crispy clean. The boxing was on point, combinations, adding it all up, and really utilized his advantages to, you know, take over that fight. unfortunate for Vapor. I'm sure he'll be back better than ever, and go back to the drawing board with that one. One that I'm sure he feels that he should have won, having a 1-0 lead going into this bout. But nevertheless, Optics getting his hand raised this evening and getting that little bit of a step closer up the rankings. It all adds up, over time, right? The closer and closer you get towards that main event, the closer and closer you get to that title, the tougher and tougher your opponents get, and the more those standout performances mean. So he's going to have to come back and continue to do, the great work that he was able to put on in that bout right there.
100%. You see it through the UFC, you see it through different things. You see it with the likes of Sean O'Malley when he fought Marlon Ferreira, and he built up his way up to that sort of that contest. You see it with Conor McGregor when he went from Marcus Brimage, eventually fought Max Holloway, young Max Holloway, to Dustin Poirier, to Diego Brandao. You've seen it with Chimaev right now, fighting the couple of guys in the middleweight and the welterweight division, and then fighting the number 11th ranked. Was it Lee he fought the other day? I can't remember the guy's name. Is it Jay Ling? Jay Ling.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I think that's right. I'm terrible with names, brother. I'm terrible with names.
Get your bets on right now, guys. The bets have just gone live, and the next fight is going to be D4 Gamer versus Razor. Can you tell us a bit more about these two guys?
I believe Miguel Gomez, also known as Razor, is a little bit of a newer addition to Primetime MMA, so I'm interested to see what he's able to get it, done. The Gamer, I think, has competed once or twice in the past and had flashes of brilliance in those performances. We are seeing a Michael Bisping pick up against Robert Whittaker, and I didn't actually look through the full notes. Humble, is this Prime Bisping?
It is Prime Bisping. It's Prime 5-star Bisping with 5-star striking as well.
Nice.
There's not much. I haven't really done a breakdown of the change yet because I've been working a lot, but it seems to be the health department, the stamina department that's been really being buffed, and some of the striking attributes as well for speed. But to be honest, the prime guys don't have too much of an advantage yet. They just seem to be slightly buffed.
Okay.
Which I just like to see the GSPs being buffed out. I've been ranting about that for so long.
Yeah, so that and Anderson Silva, shout out, my man, shout out. I can't wait to get my hands on using Anderson in that middleweight weight class. But right now we see Michael Bisping, Mikey B over here, the DJ, putting on the gloves one more time, starting out with the leg kick, which is nice. Obviously, he's probably going to have a slight cardio advantage. I would imagine D-Gamer's going to have the power advantage using Robert Whittaker. Obviously, could be incorrect on that one, but the leg kick instantly.
Interesting. Went for the takedown right there and got caught. I'm questioning the strategy, even though I shouldn't be right now, but is D-Gamer on the right, sorry?
That's right. He's in the blue corner, my man, with Robert Whittaker, and then we have Gomez with Michael Bisping, also known as Razor.
Sorry, I got them mixed up because they're opposite on my screen. I was just going to say 92% of the people in the chat have picked D-Gamer to win this one against Razor, so kind of a shutout right there. The people, if Razor wins this fight, 8% of those people are going to be 92% richer. So...
In the money, my man, in the money if he can. We're seeing a lot of feints out of Miguel Gomez. He's obviously showing that he knows what he's doing on the ground, feinting it a lot, trying to get in some short shots and building up that grapple advantage, but his opponent having none of it. Whittaker staying very, very composed, get a good posture up and some good shots.
Nice
but
work.
The separation from Miguel, showing that he's incredibly composed and he's not worried about being put on his back for a little bit, seems to have the confidence to work his way back to the feet and continue to work some nice strikes up until that one right there, my man. Big overhand lands for D-Gamer.
D-Gamer choosing to sit on the back foot right now and kind of go for them counter strikes, the overhands especially, but he needs to be careful because they are extremely counterable, especially if his opponent does a good job of countering that. You can knock him out cold, so he's got to be careful. Miguel Gomez, he clearly knows what he's doing right now. He's doing a great job of not trying to chase his opponent but cut him off, and he did a good job getting up from the ground as well. And this is a close fight so far, going in the last 2 minutes of the first round.
It's interesting you point that out. It is a very, very close fight at this point. I think that, especially in the very, very close fights, the takedowns often become the deciding factor. So if he's able to stabilize these positions and get some top control adding up, which it appears he's going to be able to, this is going to look very, very good in the eyes of the judges and get into his opponent's head a little bit. The first time Miguel was able to work his way up relatively easy over there, Humble, but now seemingly having a lot more difficulties as obviously his opponent is just clamping onto these positions very, very nicely, seems to get all of the denials off.
It'd be interesting to see how, if it goes to the second round, how Miguel kind of deals with this, because sometimes when I play a striker who's picked Robert Whittaker, who's picked Michael Bisping as Silver. I don't expect them to take me down, basically. And when they do take me down, I'm not ready for it because I'm not kind of blocking that. I'm not ready to kind of do a turn and takedown, etc. So now he kind of knows, is that going to set up some more stuff for D Gamer? Is that a great option in the first round? So he's now going to be able to strike, or is Miguel going to be able to deal with that as he's chasing his opponent down in the last 20 seconds of the first round? Right now he gets with an uppercut and dropped Cyrus.
The up kick of Doom keeps him in it a little bit longer, but no, this is the thing, Humble, right? I've been in these positions before. I'm sure you have been as well, as a man that likes to throw some hands. When your opponent's backing up like this, it can be so hard to hit them. It can be so hard to get your hands on your opponent because they keep backing up and just popping you as you close that distance. That's what he has been able to do here this evening, and right now, I mean, the gamer looking really, really composed, looking like he's having the much better of the time.
Oh, interesting. And Miguel's took it into his own hands and decided to take D Gamer down this time. He's had enough. He's going to try and land his own offense. We all know that it's easier to be on top than it is on bottom, especially on this game. It's easier to control your opponent. It's easier to get damage off. They literally can't do anything if you're on top of them unless they're a great submission artist or they're a great transition. They can transition from the bottom, try and sweep you. But exactly as I said that right now, Whittaker's now on top. Yeah. Cyrus
finds himself in top control once again. He's shown to have some nice denials from this position. Quite clearly, he is position over submission or ground and pound, which is an intelligent move, especially at this stage of the round. You know, 3 minutes 40 on the clock. You have so much opportunity for your opponents to make a mistake. And the more patient you are, the more likely they are to make that mistake, right? Because technically they're losing the fight every second that the clock adds up there.
Yeah, you're going to be, if you're Miguel right now, or he's back up to his feet, but if you were Miguel right there, you kind of question yourself as well. Why did I take him down? Why did I do that? I kind of want this fight on the feet, but as I say that, Miguel gets rocked, and now he's going to the body. D Gamer is pressing his opponent, goes for the head kick, and gets backed up. He's got a chin on him, I'm telling you that, Michael Bisping. I don't know what his recovery is, but I guarantee it's high, especially after that Anderson Silva fight. Prime Bisping's got to be high.
Yeah, unless you're dealing with the shuffle H-bomb, Michael Bisping's chin normally stands up to the test of time, but oh my god, D Gamer just giving everything he can to Michael Bisping now. Miguel Gomez is having a absolute nightmare of a performance as D Gamer continues to shine under the bright lights.
Yeah, he's kind of confused because the way he's kind of played these two rounds are completely different if you think about it. The first round he backed up and kind of used the momentum of his opponent, did some takedowns. The second round he's gone for 4-piece combos, 3-piece combos, and he's chased his opponent around the cage. Miguel Gomez is probably thinking what the hell's happening right now because D Gamer's mixed it up on him a few different times, trying to surprise him, and he's got his back right now, but obviously he can't go for certain submissions right there, but he's going to go for the back mount.
Yeah, he gets the denial. Now he's going to go for the back flat, and this is fantastic for Mikey B. Not a lot of cardio, but the block is absolutely destroyed from D Gamer. If he gets flattened out one more time, then that could spell the end of the fight, but he does a great job of recovering the half guard position. And now, once again, you know, finds Michael Bisping on top, looking to work some ground and pound. But that slip, that reversal was crispy clean. D Gamer now able to start to implement his own game, but not a lot of time on the clock, my man.
Crispy clean indeed. That was an incredible little swing. I'm liking his patience on the ground. D Gamer's got a beautiful way of kind of, even if he's in trouble, he doesn't panic. He just constantly keeps his composure. He waits for certain shots. He tries to bait you into throwing them certain shots with his head movement. And then when you, lovely little switch there as well, little sweep, sorry. But yeah, he's doing really well. I do believe that was his round. I think Whittaker is up 2 rounds at the moment. Maybe not for the first round because there was a rock to the legs, but I can't remember what happened at the end of the round.
You're right. It's a tough one to call. I think the second round definitely going towards the side of Robert Whittaker.
That's a long round.
What was it? 2 knockdowns and a stun he was able to get, and right now he's opening up this round like he's got a schedule to keep, and he's trying to get out of the cage as quickly as he can. The damage continues to mount up for Miguel Gomez as D Gamer pressing forward, landing combo after combo.
Cut. Beautiful. Now he's on top. He's going to try and finish his opponent. Michael Bisping survives again. Back to half guard, and obviously he's wanting to posture up right here. Miguel stops him. Is he going to get the sweep? He is. Can Miguel get some work off right now? He's had some success later in that second round. He got to the back mount. He got some offense off right there, but he's rushing it. That's the problem, isn't it, Cyrus? As soon as you start becoming behind, you become predictable.
Exactly right, because you start forcing things out there, Humble, and ultimately when you're forcing things, you're telegraphing your shots, and that's going to allow your opponent some opportunities to get some big counters in. It looks like D Gamer though is just marching forward. The combo never stops with this man. This has got to be it right here, unless he pulls off another Hail Mary defense. Not the night. D Gamer, start to finish, was like an absolute freight train in the octagon, just marching forward, catching his opponent. In fact, the first round, I think he took a bit of a back foot, right? There's 2 or 3 looks he gave us here. He countered in the first round with a little bit of wrestling. Same kind of mix it up, a little bit more pressure heavy in the second. And then third round was all forward momentum. So he did a fantastic job of getting the, getting the knockout here, or getting the TKO, I should say. But I'm sure he's going to be feeling really, really, good about that performance all round, Humble. When you have an opportunity to show your full array of skills, I should say, whether it be the grappling, the striking, and mixing all of that together, it really, really accentuates the fact that you're a top level player, and you have the skills to play the bills. He's not a one-trick pony out here.
Yeah, he adjusted 3 or 4 times during that fight. I think he realised that Miguel wasn't moving his head, and then started landing them combinations. Obviously, when you're not moving your head too much and you're kind of taking the first 3 shots on the guard, the 4th shot when it comes, if you don't move your head, it's gonna hurt you. It's gonna take your head health down. Yeah. So as soon as he realised that, it was floodgates kind of opened, and he wasn't getting any sort of offense back as well from Miguel to kind of make him, if Miguel decided to move his head and slip counter a few different times, maybe do some pullback elbows, etc. I think there might have been a different story to that, and he might have adjusted to the body, but. Miguel can go back to the drawing board. I think he was his first performance in PrimeTime, if I'm correct.
I think so, brother. I think so. That's right.
And on a short notice as well. So thank you to Miguel for jumping. I'm sure Razor was supposed to be in there, and so he's took that fight short notice. He's jumped in there against a top level competitor in D Gamer, and he's did his best. And he started off really well, but as soon as D Gamer started showing that level of class, as you said, showing the different attributes that he has in the game, he kind of ran away with it. Great performance from D Gamer. It's exactly what you'd expect from a veteran competitor of PrimeTime.
Exactly, brother, exactly. So we now have another fantastic fight scheduled up next, Humble. We're going to be having the one and only Haroon. He's going to be taking on EK Harambe. Dego out here is a man that has a scary, scary top game all round. He's just he's a nightmare there, man. He's an absolute nightmare there, but he trains with some of the best strikers in the game. He's going to need his hands to be on point. Haroon has shown to really, really be able to deliver in all regards. So this, even though it's still very, very early on in the card, it's quite honestly, this is a main card sort of fight, and I expect these guys to really, really, bring the action to each other here. They don't want to find themselves in this position in the near future. They really want to put an exclamation point on their most recent performances by getting the job done, up against a well-respected and known opponent. Both guys here, well-known, both well-respected within the community.
And on the prelims, the PrimeTime guarantee on the prelims, we have this fight. So it's going to be a privilege of calling this fight. It's going to be interesting how both guys approach this one. Obviously, EK, one of the best camps in the world in the UFC community, and Haroon, he's got a tough task ahead of him. Let's see how he performs in this one. It looks like we've got a Pete Yan versus Rob Font pick as well. So the grappling aspect of this is kind of neutralized in that sense. But we'll see. We're just seeing Robert Whittaker taking someone down, and Michael Bisping as well. So we'll see how it kind of goes. But I love these 2 picks. They kind of both counter each other really, really well. So we'll see how these guys do.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. I think there are certain advantages for Rob Font in the boxing. He has a slightly longer reach, I do think, but of course Peter Yan is nobody to be stifled with. He has incredible cardio. His ability to work the boxing and mix in the kicks is second to none. I imagine that's what EK Harambe is going to be trying to start out with here. I imagine he's going to be trying to target those legs a little bit of Rob Font, make him a little bit less mobile, take a little bit of a pop out of those punches. As we see a lot of respect, bit of a bow to start them out. No touch of gloves though, as EK Harambe is trying to rip out some combinations to get his opponent to back the butt up.
Oh, you good there, Cyrus? Can I hear you?
Can you hear me, brother?
Yeah, now I can.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's quite interesting when they came out and kind of bowed there, and then Haroon took the centre of the octagon and kind of got his opponent back, using that sort of bow to kind of his advantage. But then EK, obviously, Haroon is not happy with that. He's now going down to the ground. He's using that grappling, as you said earlier on. And I completely forgot, and so did Haroon, that Peter Yan has got that you know, that I think I can't remember the name of it. It's a certain judo sweep, isn't it? But yeah,
Ushigari trip?
Ushigari. We'll call it something like that.
Yeah, something like that. You tripped him.
Someone
There's a beat trip. There's a beat trip, right?
Yeah, there's a beat trip. Someone in the chat will correct us, but yeah, I've never seen him use it in real life, but maybe he does. I think they use it in Muay Thai a lot.
Do you know? I actually think he got it on Aljo. I think he got it on Aljo, the trip. Yeah. I think he was in this before it, but I think it's like a lot of the Sambo guys have that as well. So he's trying to work it quite nicely right now. And like I said, this is not where you want Ike Arambe, especially with 3 minutes left on the clock. I mean, god damn, that's a tough position to be in with Rob Font. You want to come out here with Rob Font and throw some hands, man. So when you're in Crucifix with 2 minutes 45 on the clock, Mr. Humble, what's going through your head?
I'm so annoyed right now. I've got my finger on that start button. Thinking, like, I want to put on a show for the primetime audience. This guy's got me in Crucifix. Is he kidding me? But obviously, Ike Rumbai wants to win this fight. He wants to win it in the most impressive fashion he can. And what more of an impressive way to win the fight than out grappling your opponent with a striker and kind of showing him who's boss.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with Ike Arambe is the word that comes to mind with this man is dominance. He is dominant in virtually all performances he wins. He genuinely tends to outclass his opponents and seems to have an answer for everything. There's some nice body work right now going from both guys. Their body uppercuts are a trick I've been seeing a lot of guys utilizing recently, and my god, does it do a huge amount of damage as they continue to rip at each other back and forth.
Yeah, you let him back up off the feet. I hope that's not because of something he said, but obviously these guys need to go out there and perform their best of their ability. Don't listen to us. You let him back up to his feet. He's going to let him get back into it potentially, and obviously Rob Font is now having a bit more success than he was when he was in Crucifix, definitely. So, but Haroon is doing his damage. He's landing the big shots, them uppercuts to the body. It's just a lot more. Beautiful counter right there.
No, you're absolutely right. He was doing a good job of maintaining a bit of distance, but Ike Harambe able to get one slip off counter that sends his opponents, to a little bit of a danger zone. His head was ringing a little bit as he continues to try and evade some of these big shots. Lands the head kick. Haroon pouring it on for the last 10 seconds of the round. Yeah, you could be right over there, Humble. I don't know if the stand-up was the smartest idea for him. Maybe he was just... I think maybe he felt like, I know I'm better on the ground now, so maybe he was just trying to get a feel for him on the feet ahead of the second round, but backfired ever so slightly. Now I imagine he's going to go back to his bread and butter and try and get this fight back to the mat. Otherwise, he risks continuing to eat combinations from Haroon, and they are scary combos at this stage.
It's just a lot more even, especially on the feet. You've got so many options to get killed, so many different ways the opponent can kind of land combinations or set you up when you're not thinking you're getting set up. Even if you're the most confident person in the world, we watch it all the time. People can get dropped. They can mispress a button. You can dip when you're supposed to duck. So these things happen as he gets speared into the ground there. That's a proud Brock Lesnar moment right there for Peter Yan.
Yeah, he showed his veteran savvy, knew his opponent was comboing up 6-7 punches in a row, waits for him to miss a couple of those shoots for that double leg just absolutely beautifully. Knew he wasn't going to get moved out. Haroon is very, very good on the ground himself, able to stop a lot of transitions, so another intelligent move from him, separating, getting into the full guard, and now he has a lot of time to work from this position, which you've got to imagine favors him, but Haroon gets the reversal, my man.
Yeah, nice sweep right there. Now he's on top. We're going to see what he wants to do. The only thing that Haroon has to avoid right now is being predictable in wanting to get up. Obviously, he doesn't want to be in this position. He wants to strike. He's a striker. When you don't want to be in that position, you can try and get up just like that and then get swept over by Peter Yan. And that's why Harambe is going to be always... He's going to have that in his locker because he knows exactly what you want to do, and you can't show your cards too early right there, Cyrus.
Definitely not. Definitely not. But he continues now to work these short shots. The GA management is absolutely phenomenal from both competitors. You continue to see him dig to the body. And I only recently realized this, to be honest with you, Humble. I mean, those short shots, they do a surprising amount of damage to your head and body. They really, really do stack up over the course of a round or two.
Yeah, especially if you can posture up here and there as well and land some from half guard. I know half guard got buffed there halfway through. Oh, he nearly got killed. He went for the big haymaker right there, and you got to think if he went for a simple straight or a jab or even an uppercut, he might have caught him right there, but instead he goes for the overhand and misses completely. But very, very, very lucky there that Haroon Bai went for that shot instead of going for a more simple one.
Now, we get to see EK Harambe's stamina at this stage and his health. You've got to imagine that Haroon's in a fairly similar spot in terms of the stamina, maybe a little bit better due to the bodywork that's going out. But my God, what a duck!
That's crazy, and that's exactly what happened. But then Harambe went for the overhand instead of the simple hook right there, and you can see what happens when you actually do go for a simple shot. You got the knockdown right there. Yeah, you just missed it because I know you pulled back, but that's exactly the opposite way around.
Yeah, no, it's like you said, learning from his past mistakes, making quick adjustments out there, but never mind. Oh my God! Yan ripping those combinations at the end, getting the damage back in a very, very good round of back and forth action between these two competitors. Heading into the third, I think this is a one-on-one jobby. Mr. Humble, how are you scoring this so far, my man?
I have EK up by 2, but it's a very, very close fight. You could possibly give someone a round here and there, but I just think he's done the bit more of the damage. I'd love to see the stamina and the health. That usually kind of helps me decide, but so far, beautiful work right there. Beautiful work from Rob Font. He gets back to his feet, and he's where he wants to be, gives himself a chance. I do believe Haroon needs a knockout, though. Don't take my word for it, because I could be completely wrong, and I have been before, so... But
it's easy to miscall it occasionally from these positions. I know that the first round was relatively close. The second, I think, was... the first round was definitely from EK Harambe, but I think the second may be a little bit closer. But like you said, it's so tough to call from these stages. Right now, Haroon may be finding himself in a position where he needs that finish, and looks like he feels like that as well, Humble, as he continues to press forward and try to land some good combinations on his opponent. But so far, Harambe just seems to be trying to... get those fists in his opponent's face, and they're all adding up nicely.
And Romero calls it like capturing the rhythm of your opponent, making sure when someone's going on the beat, the 1, 2, 3, that you intercept that beat. You come in before the one and you catch your opponent. That's exactly what Harambe is doing right now. He's intercepting Haroon. And as I say that, he gets countered himself. He's going to have a chance to try and put his opponent out right now. He's got him on the floor. Can he finish him? This is going to be a comeback. Oh, and he goes to side control. I thought he was going to keep going right there. But that is an opportunity to finish his opponent right there, Cyrus.
Oh, so close, so close. I mean, when you, like you say, these two guys are really, really going hell for leather right now, trying to get this victory. It's been a tough fought bout. There's 2 minutes 20 on the clock. EK Harambe finds himself in one of the most dire situations he has the entire fight. Stamina starting to become a little bit suspect at this stage. We know his health is also going to be having some problems. And right there, Rob Font slicing across the top mount like it was nothing and stabilizes out the position. This has got to be worrying for EK Harambe, Humble, as these shots continue to be pounded down.
Oh, and you can see the stamina right there from Rob Font. Just gave up on him just as he's got his head health blinking from Yan. He's going to get flattened out right now. That's a bad decision. He's going to have a chance to put some damage on his opponent. Can he finish him?
There's 1 or 2 shots left in this. Haroon's stamina obviously having a lot of problems right now, but he is doing such a great job of staying, not just staying in this fight, but really bringing it to EK Harambe to try and get this victory. He obviously feels like he's down behind, in this fight, and is throwing every little bit of gas he has at his opponent to try and get that accumulated damage, but the time is ticking away over there, Humble. There's only 40 seconds left on the clock. I don't know if he's going to be able to get it done.
And I will say that there's been a few UFC pros who've kind of went away and did some research on the scoring of the fights and how the EA Sports UFC kind of does it. And they always say that the last round is judged more effectively than the others. So if you have had a good last round, sometimes it can sway a close round in your favor. So he's got to be careful right now, EK, because he's in danger of maybe giving a fight away. Oh, go to a decision, Cyrus. Wow, first decision of the night, but it was a primetime guarantee. 100% great fight right there. I can't hear you, sorry.
Oh, can you hear me now? Hopefully that's okay.
I can.
My fault, that was. But no, you're absolutely right, brother. Primetime guaranteed. These guys brought all the action here this evening. And you're right, Rob Font gets the victory in an incredibly close bout. We're going to get to see the fight statistics. You see how close they were on the stats, a little bit more of the total strikes. Looks like round 1. I mean, EK Harambe getting that round in, for my money, very, very close, but more top control. Round 2, the knockdown maybe stole that for Haroon. And then round 3 was a big, big round for Haroon. He did a really, really good job there, Humble, of, getting that fight, man. It was a close one. We knew it was a close one, but that third round is what it all came down to.
And like I said, a lot of people did a lot of research on that last round. The last round can kind of sway the fight on the scorecards for the judges, even if you think you might have won that first round. They sometimes just weigh it up to the last round. How did you end the fight? I'd like to see it.
It is a little bit different, but I do like it. I almost kind of like that because the momentum shifts in the fight can, you know, it really plays in. And when you end the fight with your opponent gassed out, no head health, no body health, and you still lose that bout, it can feel pretty dirty, but I suppose it can on the opposite side, you know, when you feel like you've got the first two in the bag as well. But very, very fun fight. Moves us on perfectly to the featured fight of the prelims, which is going to be a newly formed camp, previously AJS boys, now TFA. That's going to be K5 Fired up against Big Nige. Big Nige, another man that's been talking a lot. It's Optic's brother, funnily enough, from earlier on this evening, and he's looking to replicate some of that same success that you know, his brother had a little bit earlier on. Sorry, I just got a bit of an old note. No, but no, you're absolutely you know, with this one, I expect he's going to try and have a pretty similar approach. You know, I imagine that these two brothers have similar styles, although you never know. It does look like, again, a T-Ferg up against Dustin Poirier in the lightweight division. Fun matchup between these two guys. Power in the hands of both. Lots of resilience and some sneaky grappling to go with it there, Humble.
Yeah, I didn't know who you said the second one. I had Dustin Poirier. Who's the other competitor?
Tony Ferguson, sorry. Tony Ferguson.
Oh, interesting. So you got the elbows, the knees, close range, you got distance fighting, you got the jiu-jitsu. It's very good, especially Dustin Poirier's also got the rubber guard now. He can fight off his back, as well as he can fight on the feet. Obviously, he is very overpowered when it comes to fighting on the feet. And Tony Ferguson, though, can neutralize that, especially with some of them combinations, some of them knees, some of them elbows, etc. So we'll see how that goes. Cyrus, just wait from the computer for 1 second, so I'm just going to continue. There he is. We're back.
Off screen for just a second, my apologies. But yeah, no, you're this one. I expect big things, to be quite honest with you. Like I said, especially when somebody's talking, right? Especially when somebody's talking, they can't just come out here and have a lackadaisy sort of, you know, approach to their fight. They've got to come out and have a big performance to back up all of the talk that they've given. I know Big Nige, he has his army behind him. I'm sure he's probably going to be the betting favorite given the support he's had within the community. But they start them out, touch of gloves, and instantly Dustin Poirier, K5 Fired for the TFA boys, not wasting any time loading up on these punches, already trying a couple of hooks, a couple of overhands, and some double uppercuts, which they can be scary, Humble. They can be really scary.
Yeah, 100%. And I don't know if you are a brother, Cyrus, but if you are a brother, you know you want to outdo your other. You want to outdo your brother. He's just had a performance of a lifetime. He came out and shot with his opponent. You want to beat that. You talk shit to him as well. It doesn't just stop. The talking shit doesn't just stop with your opponent. It starts at home, and that's where it begins usually. So if I'm Nige right now, I want a performance of my lifetime. And so far, this is a very, very close opening minute of the round for both guys. Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, I think the Poirier is getting the better of like some of the damaging shots. Some of them are bleeding through a little bit, but he's using such, you know, big strikes out here, Humble, that it only takes one pull like that, and you're gonna get cracked by T-Ferg. And obviously, T-Ferg doesn't get tired. I mean, if there's ever somebody that's a cardio machine, it's Tony Ferguson. That man right there never ever gasses in that cage. Yeah, and he's got loads of different options to try and kind of finish the fight. He's got the spinning back kick, as we just seen right there. He's got the elbows, all from different angles as well. He's got the upwards elbow, the backwards elbow, the spinning elbow. He's got all sorts of different elbows that you can kind of do. And then obviously the good boxing as well, decent boxing with the kicks that he's using and the range he's using them right now. He's doing a great job of following through, trying to get his opponent to react to his shot. The kicks aren't necessarily there to land. It's the follow-up shot that he's kind of landed at the moment that's putting K5 Fired off. Yeah, I completely agree with you. And a little bit of information to add on to what I was saying a little bit earlier on. Nige is actually the big brother. So if your little brother comes out there and has a standout performance, you know that you need to step up. You can't let your little brother out, do you? You can't. One day we have to get these guys to fight each other, because that brother versus brother, I always love that sort of scenario. But yeah, getting back to the fight. Lovely front kick right there. But he's coming out and having a great performance so far. He's doing a really good job of catching his opponent. He's gone for that twice now. He's got no head health left.
Yeah,
pushing his opponent back.
The takedown defense stands up, but it's able to recover for just a moment. Not for too long, though. Nige seems to have heat seekers in those hands this evening. Continues to find the mark on Dustin the Diamond Poirier, putting him in some pretty dire situations over the opening 4 minutes of the first round. Obviously, Dustin's power does carry through each and every one of these rounds, though, Humble. So I expect that he's going to continue to try and find a mark for those shots. Going to be a lot tougher when you find yourself on your back with Tony Ferguson on top, though.
Yeah, he's doing a great job of making Dustin sit in the cement at the moment. Dustin's not finding the range. He's not sitting in the pocket. He's not getting to the positions he needs to be to kind of land those boxing combinations. And that comes from range management from Big Nige at the moment. The range management's been fantastic as he lands some great ground and pound right now. He's trying to shut his opponent out, and this could be it.
Yeah.
Sorry for the leg, guys, but it's on their end, not ours, I believe.
Yeah, that's on their end, not ours, but it can't be helped. But no, some good ground and pound rained down for him at the end of the round. That's going to be in his opponent's mind starting out the second. I mean, when you've ended the round, with your opponent on top of you in top mount, raining down shot after shot, it can be extremely concerning. You've already had some troubles on the feet. Where do you want to go, right? You find yourself on the ground, your opponent's going to land ground and pound on the feet. They were catching you with counters. He needs to make some big adjustments going into this next round.
He does. He needs to let his hands go, and the way he's got to do that is by getting rid of that initial combinations, that are the range management, the front kicks, the teeps, the big long straights that Nige is kind of firing out at them. He needs to counter them to be able to get into the boxing range at the moment, and he's not quite doing that yet. He's not sidestepping. He's not kind of moving his head out the way of the center line to try and avoid them shots, because every time he does, he's getting spin kicked, elbow to the face, just like that, Cyrus.
Yeah, he came forward, right? And there were some lovely shots that he was landing, but the problem is that he's using too much of his gas tank in one sitting to try and get a big shot to land out there, Humble, just like that. And it looks like Nige is just too veteran savvy. Continues to land the better of the shots, and the spin kick from Big Nige. Can the Nigel army please stand up? My man gets the job done here this evening with beautiful counters, some nice work on the ground, and then that killer instinct to get that big spin for the finish, Humble. Beautiful work from him. He's going to be feeling very, very happy about that one. His brother maybe got the more dominant performance, but he probably got the better KO, at least by my standards.
In that household right now, the both guys are very, very happy. Both of them getting spectacular wins tonight. Both of them getting KOs as well. Very dominant performance. Obviously, a third round finish for his brother and a second round finish. There's going to be some joisting going around in that household right now to see who got the better performance. But Big Nige is at least he's got some sort of. He's got something to kind of back himself up with right there. It was a good performance. He used Tony Ferguson like Tony Ferguson. He used him as he should be. And I would say it should be difficult. It shouldn't be easy for your opponent to get into that range. It shouldn't be easy for your opponent to get to where they need to be to kind of strike, especially when they've got a character as powerful as Dustin Poirier in the pocket. He did a fantastic job of just completely eradicating that distance. You are not coming into my zone. You're not coming into my pocket. And if you do, he's an elbow, kid. Eat that. Good night.
Yes, yes, sir. Now, very, very fun fight, man. Very fun fight. Those guys are almost definitely going to be fighting in the future. We've had one brother v brother matchup in the past, and we know we're going to have to get them in. There's such drama. It's such fun. I think the last one of them broke their controller in the process, which was pretty brilliant.
That might be the one where we get the cameras out.
Yeah. Can you imagine? That would be amazing. Right. Okay, so now we're having another matchup between two gentlemen. There's a little bit of an adjustment from the card that you see ahead of you. It is going to be TFA's very own Rasputin, a man that's been putting it all together in recent performances. But he is not fighting Holyfield. Holyfield seems to have been no-showing, or I don't know, maybe he missed weight, I'm not too sure. But either way, we are having a dangerous man stepping up. He's done it a number of times, and he's kind of like the Donald Cerrone of the league right now. He's had some standout performances. We know he's dangerous, but my God, is this man willing to fight on a moment's notice out here, Humble? And you've got to love to see it, being game to fight anybody, anytime. And that is going to be KM Caliber coming to the table up against obviously TFA's TFA's Rasputin. I cannot wait for it. Bantamweight is still the weight class over here, and from what my eyes are peeking, it looks like we might be having an Eddie Wineland pick with Henry Cejudo. that's pretty big. Caliber's obviously feeling confident in this one, right? He's definitely the more, you know, kind of a higher touted opponent in the two, stepping up on short notice in this one. This is a moment for Rara to, you know, prove the advancements that he's made in his game. Maybe that Eddie Wineland pick comes back to bite Caliber in the butt a little bit, but shout out for repping the mustache in November. He is I think that might have been what it is, Humble. I think it's the mustache in November.
Eddie Wineland is a terrible pick, but at the same time, I don't think he cares at the moment. I think he thinks he's going to outshut his opponent. There is a bit of a spike in the lag, so it'll be interesting to see how that kind of plays effect, because the grappling usually gets eradicated when this kind of spikes, or it can help the grappling depend who gets the more spikes, etc. But if he gets beaten, this one, Caliber won't be happy. You know, he's picked Wineland. He's not one for excuses, so he'll be wanting to win this one. He'll be wanting to win it in spectacular fashion, as always. Good start of the fight so far, though.
I think that, you know, the weird thing is here, the Caliber's so good on the ground that maybe it's going to counter one of Rara's main tools in most of his performances, which is his continued takedown threats and ground and pound that he's able to put on. Got some sneaky subs behind them, but Caliber's really, really good down there. I feel like Caliber needs to get on the inside in this bout there, Humble. We've seen Rara do some great work on the outside in the past, so try and take that away from him, get on his front foot, and make that cage feel extra small.
I'm just looking at the betting lines right there, and 66% of people have picked Eddie Wineland to win this fight, which is very interesting, especially in the firefight. You'd expect Henry Cejudo, even if you both kind of land at the same time, you'd expect Henry Cejudo to come up the better of that one. But Eddie Wineland doing a fantastic job so far of kind of pushing him back, and Caliber must be happy so far going the first 2 minutes of the round. He is getting caught here and there, and this is where I worry, Cyrus. One shot from Henry Cejudo can end this fight. I
completely agree with you. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, Eddie Wineland, he has really, really fast punches. They hit quite hard as well. Excellent head movement, but his block isn't particularly high since he never puts his hands up, and he doesn't really have the ability to take too much damage in these situations. So even though Caliber may be a little bit more of a veteran, you know, at least before this, maybe touted as the most skillful of the two players, with the pick from Rara Rasputin, the adjustments he's made to his game, and the pick of Henry Cejudo, that may all amalgamate to a nice knockout victory. You can see the jab straight, you know, just making Caliber's head like a bit of a Pez dispenser. You see it popping back. The damage adds up very, very quickly on the side of Eddie.
Yeah, people with mustaches get into the title shot. I don't know what it is about him. Like, there's been a few different types of people. Uncle Creepy reminds me of one as well. But
yeah,
he did fight for a title. Let's not forget about that. He fought Renan Barão. Maybe some people in the chat don't. A bit past their time, but Renan Barão knocked him out with a spinning kick. And Henry Cejudo so far, though, is pushing him back now. He's starting to get some momentum. He's trying to go trade for trade, but Caliber is using some expert UFC techers so far of keeping his opponent on the outside, using that reach, and he's landed some beautiful combinations to pin Cejudo close to that fence.
Yeah, he's approaching this fight exactly how you would want to see him approach it, with the pick of Eddie Wineland. Really, really working behind that jab, trying to get into boxing range and get his opponent to, you know, engage on his terms, just like that. The rip to the body after the slip. Now the combinations. My God, Caliber's coming alive with that silky smooth boxing from Eddie Wineland.
Oh, wow, that was like a 9-piece perfection of a combination. Head, high, low, body, head, high, low, body. What a beautiful performance that was. Like, beautiful combination, beautiful shot selection. He already knew what he was going to throw right there. He knew how his opponent was going to react, and every single shot Cyrus landed. Every single one of them.
It did. And I mean, Rara threw his hands up at the end saying, "I'm still standing, mother..." But he had a lot of adversity thrown at him at the end of that round right there. You can see the statistics: one body health event, one knockdown, a lot of significant strikes adding up on the side of Eddie Wineland. I feel like Rara almost needs to start planting and ripping out here, Humble. A lot of the forward momentum is coming from Caliber. If he's able to plant and rip on some of those shots, the big power that Henry Cejudo has in his hands may be the deciding factor. But as he continues to move back behind these black lines and, you know, continues to move his feet, unfortunately that is putting him in a bit of a worse position as he continues to be timed with expert efficiency by Eddie Wineland in the hands of Caliber. He's doing such a great job of making absolutely everything count here.
Oh, nice knee right there. Yeah, you're completely right about the pressure. He is trying sometimes to kind of let it rip and kind of obviously moving takes a lot of stamina sometimes as well. Like not in this game, but in real life, if you're moving constantly on the back foot, it takes a lot of stamina to actually do that. Constantly moving while your opponent's just following your feet, kind of cutting the angles off. But Wineland's just doing a great job at the moment, is keeping his front foot pinned to Henry Cejudo's front foot, and then kind of firing when he thinks the rhythm's about to come. So as soon as AJ's Rasputin starts to go, right, I'm going to start firing a 1 or 2 piece, he interrupts that with a jab, and then comes with a 2 or 3 piece. And every time he does that, he completely puts off Rasputin. He doesn't know when to go. He doesn't know if he should fire, but he needs a counter right now. He needs a big shot to kind of turn this fight around.
Yeah, he is having some beautiful artistry displayed here this evening. His Caliber eating a couple of shots right there from Rara Rasputin, trying to get some work done of his own. But like you said, seems like he is in full control right now. Seems incredibly confident. Is doing all of the right things to get the job done. Rara definitely having a better second round than a first one, but oh, I was going to say, but none is getting him to the blinking range, but that one did right there. I think that there's only like 4 or 5 shots that really need to be landed by AJS Rara to get, big damage, but it's really tough to do when Caliber continues to land combinations like this, Humble. I mean, beautiful work from him.
And this is the nail in the coffin, right? He was going to try and control them on the ground with Wineland to prove that he's a superior grappler as well. This is kind of the type of top-level competitor that you want to see, somebody that wants to prove a point. We have seen it, though. We've seen it in one of the fights about Harumbai and I can't remember the guy's name, the similar name too.
EK Rambe?
Yeah,
EK Rambe,
yeah, and he held him down with Pete Yan in the first round, ends up losing the fight because of that third round. And if he kept on top of him, did some more damage, he could have shut out that round. You know, he did get up in that first round, so you got to be careful sometimes. There's still another round to go, and Rasputin is still dangerous.
I'm just to add on to that point there, Humble. I mean, AJS Rara Rasputin, he was a man that at one point went 6 fights on a losing spree. And now I know people who would have smashed their Xbox up, drop kicked the nearest next of kin, on that many losses and never came back. But he continues to dig deep, and he went on a 4-5, fight winning streak after that. Just like that, he always seems to find a way to get the job done, and he's going to have to dig very, very deep and continue to put this pressure on Caliber if he's going to get his hand raised.
Well, Caliber comes back, catches him with an uppercut. Now he's chasing him across that ring. But like I just said, like Rasputin's gonna have his moments, mainly because of the character and the pick. Not to discredit his skill at all in any sort of way, but that sort of pick is always going to open you up for more punishment. You're going to be rocked when you shouldn't, maybe sometimes, etc. But Rasputin finds a way right there and gets a stun at least in that round to kind of shut up. And Wineland's got to be careful, and so as Caliber, because it only takes one. We know this. It only takes one with a bit of ground and pound, and it's over.
Yeah, and there is nobody better than Henry Cejudo to find yourself in a top control position with, and the opportunity to rain some ground and pound down. The man seems to seemingly be able to rain down shot after shot for an eternity, so that's definitely a position that Wineland wants to try and avoid as he gets a double leg turning takedown very, very nicely by Rara. He's really going to have to be on his A game to hold Caliber down, though. The man is so well versed on the mat, such a seasoned grappler. He's seen it all before, and you can't be trying anything overly flash. Keep it simple, stupid, I think, is the perfect expression of what Rara needs to approach this third round like now that he's got some top control.
Yeah, he wants to do some damage. If he gets some, it's a nice little submission attempt right now. We'll see how this goes. As I said earlier on, there was a bit of lag, so it's going to be difficult to kind of follow that bar at any point, but maybe he's just trying to get a pattern later on for another attempt at a submission. But I was going to say, you at least want to get some damage off on the ground. You want to get some ground and pound with Henry Cejudo, because if he goes back to the feet and your opponent's got Eddie Wineland and you've landed some damage off, just like he is right now, when he goes back to the feet, he's gonna have a less head health. He's gonna have less block, and you only need 1 or 2, maybe a 1 counter to kind of hurt him really badly, and that's what he's kind of looking for right now. It's a great choice from
I agree with you, yeah. I mean, it all adds up, right? That chip damage that you're able to get, even if you're not able to get the finish, like you said, your opponent then has to be incredibly concerned about the shots coming at them, as they're not able to sustain as much. But good change of events from Eddie Wineland here, getting the turn, the reversal, and now straight back to his feet, trying to get some big bombs off. Nice duck. I mean, Caliber's boxing has been looking really, really good here this evening, as another 3-piece lands with relative ease for the victory. Big W. Caliber stepping up on short notice, doing it with Eddie Wineland. The mighty mustache reigns true, Humble. He's going to be feeling pretty good about that one, brother. Going to be feeling pretty good.
Not just pretty good, he took out a top level competitor with a character that nobody kind of uses. I'd like to find the reason behind that. I'd love him to tell us why he picked Eddie Wineland. Is there a specific reason? Does he like him? Like me and you both like Cup Swanson, for instance. We play Cup Swanson a lot. Somebody we've watched throughout our time, from Joe Saldo knocking him out in 12 seconds with a flying knee, a double knee,
Don't bring that up.
to him having absolute wars in the future with Shane Burgos and loads of other different people. So we've watched him throughout, so I'd love to find the reason of him playing Wineland, but he did a fantastic job right there, and what that does is it puts another exclamation point onto the performance, because if you picked the character selection was somebody of a weaker nature.
Yeah, no, definitely so. Great fight between these two guys. These, they're really living up to all the hype. We wouldn't expect anything less. The main card is obviously upon us right here. We're going to be seeing BSD Mix-Up up against the returning Yeeticus, or LFC Yeet, as he is now known. Joining the LFC boys, I think that's a great camp for him out there. I don't know if you're too familiar with them, but they're phenomenal grapplers, and Yeet is a man that can really do it all, but his bread is buttered in the grappling domain, so, to find a camp that specializes in something like that, I think that's going to play dividends for him. Although, obviously, KMA, or KM as a whole, they're incredibly dangerous in their own right, so Striker v Grappler, I think, maybe the type of fight that we're seeing ahead of us right here, Humble.
Yeah, 100%. And something about he came to PlayStation recently. I did fight him a few times on the PlayStation side. In the striking department, he's known very well as being a pretty much a predominant grappler, and a young kid as well. He's very young. He's like 15 or 14 years of age. And there's something I know because I've got camp teammates. I've got lots of different people. I know there's so many different competitors like Suave Jamie. There's Zayef. There's B. Dying. There's like so many different competitors that are 14, 15, 16 years of age. Rayhan, another one, and their ability to learn is absolutely incredible, especially when they're striking sort of in the game. They can go from being a predominant grappler, like for instance Judo Demon, to a prolific striker, and end up knocking people out left, right, and center. And that Yeeticus knocked me out 3 times in a row in our fight, and I'm only a striker. I'll be honest with you guys, I'm completely.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's interesting to know, brother. That's definitely interesting to know. Nice to hear that Yeet is doing some great work with the hands all round. Like I said, he is a nightmare on the ground. So I don't know where this one's going to go. Mix-ups does, as the name kind of suggests, he likes to mix it up, right? Whether it comes to the grappling, mixing in some hands, the kicks, and all of that. Yeeticus, I'm very intrigued to see what he's able to do on the feet. I imagine he's going to go back to the grappling and use the striking almost in reverse, strike when he has to, grapple when he can. These two picks right here allow them the full array of mixed martial arts, though. They are jiu-jitsu practitioners with great boxing and kickboxing as a whole, so they have a lot of tools at their disposal. Will be interesting to see, what skills they decide to utilize in this fight.
Yeah, these are the guys that are going to be leading the future of this game, of these games of UFC 5, etc. Because these are the youngest competitors who are fighting on the esports stage at the age of 15, 14-year-olds. So you're going to see a lot more of these guys, and they're going to get better with the time and better with the skills as we come through. As Yeeticus starts going for the Imanari roll right there. Gilbert Burns a great pick to kind of neutralize that. I don't like his reach myself, but like we talked about Tony Ferguson already, and we know Yeeticus has got a great one.
He really does. The ability to get his opponent down to the mat and make their nights a living hell is already on display, Humble. He's already down on the ground, already riding that position out into a top mount. And this is where he's going to start to stack up some work, posture up, get a couple of ground and pound shots in if he can. Obviously very active on bottom. His mix-ups, pretty intelligent move from him. Doesn't want to be resting his laurels in those positions. Obviously, there are certain positions that you want to be a little bit more cautious in. And then there are others that you need to bust a scramble out, Humble. Otherwise, those shots are coming down thick and fast, my man.
Just like right there, he denied that crucifix. I'm surprised he didn't try and go for the reversal of the crucifix where you flip your opponent. Oh, that's something quite nice that I've been seeing recently. But yeah. He decides not to. But I want to talk about something really quickly before Yeeticus starts doing some bit more damage. But the takedown itself, he used the lunge to get away from the strike to set up the takedown, to take the back and then kind of do it. You don't often see that, and that kind of threw his opponent off right there. And now this has allowed this dominant position from side control. Now crucifix. He's got to be careful here. He's got to be cautious of what he does. Yeah, this might be it, because Yeeticus is raining down them elbows right under the ear of Gilbert Burns, and it looks like Mix-Ups is stuck. He doesn't know how to get out of this one. Yeeticus has got him pinned, Cyrus. Yeah. What can he do?
Well, he's trying everything he can. He's blocking up, go for those arm traps when the opportunity presents. He's kind of throwing these ground and pounds on a rhythm, so if he can time that, maybe get one of those out. But did a good job of getting to his knees, although that does not get him out of the woods quite yet. His opponent just raining down shot after shot. This is exactly where he wants to be, though, Humble. The rubber guard is an available option for Gilbert Burns. You know how much I preach about the rubber guard. I feel like it's just such a valuable skill to have in your fighter skill set. Can really change up the ground positioning as a whole and allow you so many options as he goes for a ghillie relatively early. A minute left, maybe just trying him out. I don't know what Yeet's doing right now. Just stopped up, decided to take a moment's breather.
Yeet is trying to get into a better position right there. That's what Yeet is doing. He's trying to let some of the chains go by so he can then kind of get by. But he didn't give it up. He didn't try and get to it. But obviously he would have got the half guard if he tried to do that. Some of the best fighters do that. But yeah, interesting choice, as you were saying, to go for that guillotine right there. But the rubber guard is a great option, but I find it difficult against the best fighters in the world because it's so predictable to kind of go for it. If you could get some the grappling advantage and then go for it, brilliant. But if they're somebody like Khabib, or you've already got low head health, or they get up to stack guard and you don't predict it right, or you just miss the timing, it can be trouble. So you got to still mind your P's and Q's, as you would say.
Yes.
Be careful of what you do.
Yeah, definitely. Let's say, mainly I like it, to just while we're in between rounds. I do like it personally, Humble, just for a lot of the reasons that people predict it, like you say, and that allows you to set up like a quick couple of short elbows and going into the opposite side for a nice quick get up. But like you said, as you move up the rankings, as you get to the more top level opponents, it can become, in every single position in the game, a lot tougher to really get anything going. Fake glove touch, turning takedown from the mighty Yeet. LFC Yeet not taking any prisoners tonight, Humble. That was that was a show of disrespect for mix-ups if I've ever seen one.
He doesn't need to do it, I don't think. I think he's had a great performance so far, Yeetkiss, and that's how you get the hate. That's how you get the people in the chat to kind of go against you. And, when you say, why always me, the Balotelli type of stuff, it's because of stuff like that, Yeetkiss.
But to be fair, I think that this man, he's almost started to lean into it this stage. As long as he's getting his hand raised, I feel like he's happy. He is very, very dangerous with submissions. We've seen him get so many first-round submissions in the past, doing a fantastic job of tracing him so far with his Peruvian necktie. Continues. This is great.
This could be it. Yeetkiss has kind of got the patterns sometimes, but yeah, this is going to be a wrap right now. That Peruvian necktie is going to be in. His windpipe is gone, and he's got the leg wrapped around. It is over. And
that is why Yeetkiss is such a dangerous opponent, brother. He really is not a man to mess with, especially on the mat. Didn't get to see those improved hands that you were talking about, but I know he's going to be forced into that in some of his future performances. But to get a submission in the first round, again, another first round sub for this man, shows the pedigree of his submission skills, and really should be something that his opponents should be worried about going forward. You don't want to be on the mat with this man.
No, I wouldn't want to be on the mat with him, to be honest. It's just he just knows every position. He's quick. His reactions is, you see it with the likes of Rehan, you see it with the likes of Zayev and all these young lads who have these reactions in split second. When you old man humble, as I like to call myself, I have to press the button as I'm doing it. It takes a couple of fractions of seconds, and they've done 10 of them. So you've got to be careful. You've got to avoid them positions. You've got to take control of the fight very early against somebody like a Yeetkiss, and if Yeetkiss gets going, it's hard to stop him.
Oh, it really is. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Another fun fight in the bag, brother. We are going to take a step closer to our main events with LW Kobe. I think he's a recent addition to Kobe, up against a late notice replacement, which is TMF Sir Psycho 99. Never heard this name before. He is a PlayStation competitor, as is LW Kobe as of recently. I expect big things from these guys. TMFers, they always show up, and we know that Kobe's is a genuine talent on the UFC 4 competitive scene. So this one should be fireworks, brother.
Yeah, well, this was actually a fight I was going to take, and obviously I was end up commentating, so I didn't end up doing it against Kobe because it was a late replacement. So Psycho stepped in there, and it would have been a great fight. I was looking forward to fighting Kobe, but he's such a great competitor, and that camp, as you said, is a great camp, and I'm 100%, 110% sure that Kobe used to be in Yeah, and then he switched over, and I know there was some animosity in the kind of the exchanges in the chats that I was in as well, between Crypto, I think, and a few other guys. So that these camps do not like each other. There is some animosity here between camps. Maybe not the individuals in the camps, but definitely between the camps there is some animosity. So bragging rights is always the key if you're in camp or camp wars or whatever. You always want to be getting your guy up on them, and it's kind of that's how your camp wins, etc. So this is going to be one for the camps, and the both guys that will be in chat now getting the camps to shout them on.
Nice opening there from Sir Psycho. We see Kobe's trying to open up with a jab into, like a push kick to the face almost, which was slipped nicely by Psycho and ripped combinations. These guys going to get very, very active. Very little feeling out process normally in these sorts of bouts, especially in the bantamweight weight class. You have the cardio to get the job done, right? So you can start to be a little bit freer with the output that you're going for in these lower weight classes.
Nice work right now. It's a very interesting pick to go with Aljamain Sterling. I do like it just because you don't see it a lot. So when someone is a good Aljamain Sterling, you come up against them, they can kind of surprise you right there. And Kobe's gone with that traditional pick of the Peter Yan, and he's pressing his opponent back, but great block breaking skills. But Sterling so far seems to be a good job. I don't know about you. I always end up gassing. When I use Sterling.
Yeah, it can be a bit of a trouble. I think that he needs to wrestle with Aljo. I mean, Aljamain Sterling has all of those jiu-jitsu vanguard sort of kicks, so he can be very unpredictable with them and catch you off guard. Doing a great job of ripping to the body right now and catching his opponent on some high vulnerability strikes, but the takedown, I think, is going to be where he gets a lot of the work done. If you can put Peter Yan on his back, start to gas him a little bit and, take control of the fight, because that's one of the toughest things to do out here, Humble, is get a Peter Yan player tired. He's so tough to get him out of his A game that that's why he's such a popular pick in this weight class.
Yeah, 100%. Peter Yan's difficult. He's a difficult. You always get that sigh when someone picks a Peter Yan. If you're on your AWC and someone picks Peter Yan, you go, oh, God's sake. And that's kind of me all the time because that's my main character. But he's so difficult. But I'm just laughing because I know Sir Psycho put into the Discord chat that I'm not very good at the game, so go easy on me. And he's come out here and he's throwing combinations, switch stances, setups, all sorts of different stuff. And I can just imagine Kobe just being like, "You motherfucker."
Yeah, he said it at the time, man. He said it at the time. He was like, "You're not getting me. I've been told that before." I think he was knowing that there was traps being set. Landing some big shots is Kobe right now. He's hit so many 3-pointers in the past. I imagine he's going to try and do it here again this evening. 1:20 on the first clock, and these guys really starting to get active right now as Aljo continues to try and march forward, and Kobe continues to look for some blistering combinations on the counter that he's been able to hit a few times here this evening.
This has been such a close technical brawl as we move into the last minute of the round, and honestly they've been far between each other obviously, but the Peter Yan's had some of the better moments with the rocks, etc. But Sir Psycho has landed so many big shots as he gets caught right there. I just jinxed him. The commentators coming in perfect.
Well, no, I think you're absolutely right, though. I mean, he was doing some good work. The thing that he was getting caught with was kicking inside of punching range, and Kobe's being the veteran that he is, recognized that instantly, got some big shots off, got him down, and was that the finish? Herb Dean just jumping in there to stop the fight. I was going to say lackluster, but it wasn't lackluster. That was almost that was a surprising finish. That was a quick one there, Humble.
It was a very surprising finish. I wasn't expecting him to get finished so soon, but I just feel like Aljamain Sterling's character on this game doesn't kind of give justice to his actual character in real life. You've got to remember, this guy finished Corey Sandhagen within the first minute of their fight together. This guy's fought pretty much everyone in that division to get to where he was, to fight Peter Yan and beat them. Barring Marlon Moraes, where he got caught with a knee to the head as he was going for a takedown. Yeah, but he's pretty much did everything, and the only reason he gets discredited so much is because of that knee to the head, which caused him an injury. So he's a great fighter, but on the game, it's a bit like Khabib, a bit like some other fighters. It's difficult to kind of play with these type of characters against a Peter Yan because just forward pressure and boxing's horrible. Yeah,
no, exactly. So with sorry, I was just getting a little bit of information from the guys in the back. But no, with Aljamain in particular, just to add on top of that, funnily enough, one of my friends fought Aljamain Sterling, Brett Johns, back in the day, and Brett Johns is so strong in the clinch and so on. It's one of the things I think that maybe needs a little bit of tweaking with Aljamain Sterling, is that he's actually really strong. Yeah, Brett Johns, yeah. good old Bont Boy is good. Brett Johns, yeah, no, he's judo practitioner. You know, those guys like brick walls when you grapple with them, and Aljamain Sterling was able to counter wrestle him a little bit, and even I think he might have even tripped him once and got him down, which was very, very surprising to be able to do against Brett. You know, one of his only losses, and it shows the pedigree of somebody like Aljamain Sterling, obviously now having the belt under weird circumstances nevertheless, but you know, he always had tile kind of implications in his future with his all-round ability. I think he's a very, very tough guy to use, so nice to see him being used this evening, although it didn't go his way, right?
100%. It's nice I like it when people pick different types of characters, like we've seen the Eddie Wyland pick. We've had a couple of different arrays of characters tonight. It's always the meta pick, obviously, in these esports competitions is always kind of the go-to, because you're fighting in such a, you want to get up there, you want to win your belt, it notifies your name in the rankings. You potentially might want to be getting into the ESFL, you potentially want to be putting yourself at the top of the card every single time. Your name's on the poster, your name's going out there, pushed by the promotion. You are the representation, and that brings in fans, that brings in people to watch you, brings in people to maybe go to your YouTube channel or your Twitch channel, or even just get you in your team's recognition so you can sign more players. And that's kind of why these guys do it. So it's obviously obvious to pick the meta picks, and that's why we see it so much, but it's a nice little cherry on top when we do get some of the characters. Exactly
right, brother, exactly right. Now, there are some slight adjustments to the card that you see ahead of you. We've had a couple of short notice replacements here this evening. The next one being KM M-Town is not going to be fighting Killer Jake, unfortunately. He busted his A button or something down those lines, so we're going to be having another LFC man stepping up on short notice, which is going to be LFC Lepo. Lepo, my God, this man has really come into his own in recent weeks or months out there, Humble. Always had great performances, but since joining LFC, his ground game went to another level, able to get that submission in the Xbox Grand Prix a couple of weeks ago, about a month ago now, and ever since has been putting on some really, really nice performances. He was previously just known as a guy that brought the action and pressed forward, but he's gonna have his work cut out from him. M-Town's finest, KM M-Town, has shown to be a dangerous man in every single one of the standouts. It's the reason he joined into KM. They were looking for some killers, and he threw his name into the hat, had some great performances. Going to be looking to continue to replicate the successes he's had in previous performances here this evening. As these guys take a couple of seconds, though, just to get lobbied up, we're just going to take a very short intermission. We will be back with you within about 30 seconds. As they start to lobby up. I think it's a lightweight fight. I believe, if the word I'm getting is correct, it's going to be Dustin Poirier up against Khabib, which is a fun matchup. This is legend Khabib, you've got to remember.
Icon Khabib. Interesting.
Exactly. Right. We will be back momentarily. We are back at it. These guys are ready to go. LFC Lepo, M-Town's finest. Without further ado, we're going to skip straight across to that screen over there. Do apologize, had the wrong one out. Let me just grab this man. right here. There you go. Your face is back. There it is. The beautiful Mr. Humbleding back on camera. Apologies. This camera whole thing has been a bit different today, my man. It's been a nice adjustment. We've had a couple of technical issues with it. I had to switch to Cam 2. You had to switch to Cam 2. But I'm glad that we finally got it going. Hopefully this will be the trend going forward.
Nice to get that personal touch in, obviously, leading the way from some of the highest leagues that we can do. The ASFL, we can name one with Zeke Hunter, kind of bringing this into tuition with Bailey and Bruce Lee Robin, something I've always enjoyed watching and something I always enjoyed doing as a commentator. It's nice to see someone's face when you're doing some commentary with them. And hopefully you guys are enjoying it as well as we move into the first round of this fight, Cyrus.
They touched them up. Oh, I was going to say they touched them up, but no, bit of a level change from Dustin Poirier. No bow in return from M-Town's finest. Seems to be all about action here this evening. A little bit of a measured approach, trying to land some short shots on the inside. Attacking the leg, I think, is a very intelligent approach from him, especially against a Khabib player out here, Humble. Try and take away some of those takedown attempts and get him second-guessing what's coming his way.
I'm on flashbacks right now from a ranked match that I had when I picked this Khabib and someone just kept hitting my leg over and over again. Every time, I don't know if people know this, but every time you go for a takedown, if you're in the middle of a transition to go for a takedown, that leg attack becomes so much more powerful. It can damage or rock your leg immediately, as we've seen right there. And if people time it, it takes about 7 to actually end your leg health. So you've got to be super careful if you're a takedown artist. It's a great option to go for if you're Dustin Poirier right now.
Yeah, all about the timing of them. Khabib, though, goes for another takedown. Successful on this one. A feint from Lepo. But as we were speaking about a moment ago, when Lepo's on his back, it doesn't mean he's out of the fight. He got I think it was a first or second round finish in the Xbox Grand Prix with a submission up against a dangerous opponent. So, no, he is no slouch here. And obviously those LFC boys have been drilling in the ground routines with him. Although it does look like M-Town is very, very comfortable here, Humble. Just, taking his time, working these short shots, and he's been able to secure a few of these positions right now. And obviously it doesn't look like Lepo's going to be able to get back to his feet anytime in the immediate future.
Yeah, we go back to that Haroon fight earlier on, and one guy can be dominating one position, but it takes one moment in the fight. It takes one moment of anxiousness, one moment of hesitation, one moment of rushing to kind of end the fight. Obviously going for that submission, you've seen Yeetikis perfectly time something, and that's maybe something he's looking for right now. So both competitors are high level. They know kind of what they want to set up, where they want to be, and they're kind of rolling with the punches. What have you got? What you're going to offer me? How do you react to this, etc.? And then they're trying to read their opponent and get information and reads. Obviously Khabib's on top right now. He has a leg health stun, but it doesn't really matter too much. If he can kind of end this round on top, he's going to be dominant as the judges score this card. All they're going to remember is Khabib on top for the majority of the round.
If he's able to get over that 2.5 minute mark, which it looks like he's going to be able to at this point, that's going to be a massive equalizer for that leg stun, as you mentioned. Lepo doing a really good job of mitigating a lot of the damage right here, but obviously not where he wants to find himself. Khabib players, they do their best work in top control, as you would expect, right? Khabib smash, but they're back on their feet now, which is great. Great for Dustin. He's able to get that boxing going, but once again, when you've been on your back for so long, it can really throw you off your rhythm for your striking in some situations as well out there, Humble, because obviously you're a little bit worried about that level change again.
Yeah, 100%. It's all mixed martial arts for a reason. Setting up that takedown is one of the reasons Khabib is so successful with his takedown. Is he starts with the hands always. He always starts with his hands and tries to get to a certain position like a body lock, or if you're doing a good job or overcommitting or your stance is wide, he'll shoot for that single leg, an ankle pick you in the middle of the octagon, drive you to the fence, and then work his way across to like a vine grip type of stuff to get you down. But you've got to be. You always start on the feet, so when they are on the feet, if you have gone for a few takedowns, your opponent's going to be blocking the lower a bit, so you can open up the hands. They have actually updated Khabib's strike slightly. It's only plus like 1 or 2, but some of his attributes have gone up slightly with his striking, so we'll see if it makes him a bit more dangerous, maybe like an Usman type. But I'd want to be on the ground if I was him, to be honest. Yeah,
it's definitely where all of his tools are the most finely sharpened. I wonder what type of mentality you are, though, Humble. There's kind of like a divide between how players believe they should approach it against somebody that's going to be shooting on your legs. Are you pressuring them, or are you giving them space to walk onto you?
I don't want to give too much away, because the thing, I always I like to go to the body a lot, because if you go to the body a lot, your hands are actually closer to the defense of doing that. But at the same time, then that opens up the head for your opponent. But I always find that going to the body, one, depletes their stamina, and two, your hands are closer to kind of go for that takedown. It's just a bit of a tip for me, but mainly movement.
Yeah.
So mainly the movement. I like to stand southpaw and kind of move off to the left hand side, but depends on how you kind of fight and how you like. I like to fight southpaw because I'm used to it. So
yeah, like you say, it's all about preferences. Some guys like to give a lot of space so that they can see that takedown coming from ankle picks. Others like to pressure their opponents and try to force them, to shoot on their legs. But it looks like M-Town, man, he's composed on the feet and on the ground. And when he gets it down here, he doesn't waste any time, Humble. I mean, my God, does he get after the strikes nice and quickly, and is hunting these submissions, pretty actively as well.
yeah, if you go for them submissions as well, especially the arm triangle from half guard, you might not necessarily get close to getting it, but it might get you a position change, so you might get into a side control, a free pass, as we like to say, and it's risk-free. Your opponent can't really get anything back apart from a regard, so the arm triangle is such a safe a submission to go for, because you're not going to get reversed into anything. So it's a great tactic to do that. It's good submission awareness and position awareness from Khabib at the moment, and Motown finest.
Yes, sir. They continue with these pitter-patter shots. Nice defense there from LFC Lepo on bottom, able to stop that posture up from Khabib. Not able to levy that into a transition, though, as once again M-Town's finest continues this heavy pressure he finds himself in when in this top control position. This is pretty troublesome for Lepo, although he's not panicking, although he's not, kind of doing the wrong things to try and get out of these positions. He is having a tough time stacked up against him right now. This is basically 2 rounds of pure top control from M-Town's finest.
And it's a mixture between I'm not taking too much damage. If I take risk, I might take too much damage because my opponent might get into a better position. And as the round starts to tick down, I need to take risk to try and get the round back or to try and get something. So it's one of those things of kind of balancing your options throughout. And exactly like that, 35 seconds less. He's clearly not happy with being held on the ground. He's going to try and get some offense up right now, and he's doing a great job. Gets speared again. We keep seeing that move happening on these Xbox guys. They've got it nailed on, Cyrus.
Yeah, they're really actively timing the low stamina. And I was about to say that one thing to bear in mind with Lepo is that he is an absolute nightmare when it comes to forward pressure and that momentum he's able to put on his opponents. Previously, TP, team pressure, or I think that's what they were called, team pressure. But anyway, technical pressure, sorry, is what they were called. And that name perfectly accentuates the skills that Lepo normally brings to the table. Right now, though, KM's M-Town's finest is doing all of the right things of mixing it together. Every time his opponent thinks he's going to strike, he shoots a double leg. Every time he thinks that he's going to shoot for a double leg, he's throwing some hands. So this is some beautiful work from M-Town's finest, and I really feel like Lepo has to dig so deep to get the victory here. He's still in a good position health-wise, stamina-wise out there, Humble, but just it's got to be deflating with the amount of top control that M-Town's been able to get.
He needs to control the range at the moment and not just kind of walking at his opponent and kind of... The striking's opening up at the moment for M-Town's finest. Apologies, but it's also the takedowns. He's kind of walking into them. I'd kind of try and get my opponent to overcommit if I'm Lepo at the moment, but I can see where he's coming from. He's trying to put that forward pressure on and get some of the damage on. But look at this, he's getting taken down and back up to his feet. Great reversal right there from Lepo, and back on the feet, and he's going to try and go after his head again, Cyrus.
I think that was a big confidence building moment for him. He needs to make the most of it with the hands, but M-Town is landing the cleaner of the shots out of the two guys right now. Continues to plant on that straight, is sniping with it, utilizing some good head movement off the center line. A little bit of a laceration above the left eye of Khabib. However, he does not seem to be dissuaded by that. Continues to try to get the better of the shots, jockeying for the center of the cage currently. There is 3 minutes 15 on the clock, and a lot of time to work as he enters with another beautiful turning takedown straight into side control, Humble. And once again, the denial is instantly there for him.
I hate this position, but it's a great position for a Khabib or anything like that. I just think they need to add more to it. There's so many more options from that position, that from a defensive and from an attacking option than crucifix, top mount and others. I just want to see a few different more raise to that position. You got deep half, you got all sorts of different things you can kind of do from there. So I want to see it, but it's a great position for Motown at the moment. But he gets pulled back to his feet against that fence, and this is where Lepo can have some offense right now. He's going to try and take his back. Can more times finalists get out of it, and he ends up in side control, Cyrus?
Now, I actually feel like there's a Hail Mary submission coming here from LFC Lepo. He's done it time and time again where he's been able to get it off, feinting for that Kimura. He needs one bit of advantage in terms of stamina, and last time he did it, basically full stamina, I believe. So, I think that, yeah, I think that's what he's going for here. I think that's why we find himself on the mat with 1 minute 25 on the clock. Lots of ground and pound shots come in the way of M-Town's finest, but he stays active. He gets himself to his knees, isn't able to stop LFC Lepo transitioning to the side right there. Now more ground and pound seems to be imminent, but the defense once again is on point from M-Town's finest, just doing enough to make sure that the damage isn't gonna, get him out of the fight with only 40 seconds left on the clock.
He could be winning the fight right now though as well, because that first round was so close. He did have a rock with a leg health, and there was 2 minutes and 30 seconds of control from Khabib, but what damage did he actually do? And as I always say, pros have done this. The last round, the judges weigh up a bit more. So if you come out strong in that last round and you can kind of win that last round, sometimes they'll give you the first just because you won the last.
But never mind. Maybe Lepo doesn't need the judges. Pressing forward, rocks him once again. 2 seconds left on the clock, but no stamina for the finish, Humble. That's the way to end the fight. Pushing for every single millimeter you can, trying to get the finish, or at least get that cherry on top for the judges ahead of their results.
Yeah, 100%. And Khabib's is such a difficult character to use, so I do. It's such a good performance because he acted like the character was like a virtual sim of Khabib, and the character was a virtual sim of Dustin. So such a fun fight to watch, such a fun one to kind of call right there. But we'll see who's going to get the win right now. I do like that shirt.
It is a nice shirt, isn't it? The Khabib one.
Like a sticker. Who's it gonna be?
It's Dustin!
I keep saying it. Keep saying it. Like they literally did tests on this. They did tests over, and then if you'll notice as well in your own fights in your own OWC, the last round is the most important round of the fight, especially if there's other close rounds. So get that in your head, guys, if you're fighting in other competitions, because you might think you clearly won that round, but the judges don't think that sometimes.
Yeah, no, it can be a bit of a problem, but. So yeah, really? No, great work by him. That's a big win for Lepo as well, man. I wasn't sure which way that fight was going, so for him to get the job done there, in the eyes of the judges, that's a great one for him, and I think that I think he's going to be feeling pretty good about that one. A tough, well-earned victory, I feel. Yeah,
the first round was super close, as I was saying, and that second round was kind of a bit of a shutout. He got put on his back quite a bit. You can tell a bit of frustration, especially when he starts taunting his opponent, starts to show the frustration to his opponent coming forward. He can't really get any offense off, and he came on that third round, and he had not even just the striking, good offensive grappling as well. He kind of switched that round. Sometimes you can learn your back table to try and get up back to the feet to become predictable, as we said. Sometimes you reverse your opponent, make them scared of your grappling, and that's exactly what he did. Gets back to his feet, gets a rock at the end of that round, and ends up swinging it. So the judges scored it 2-1 for him, and a great win for him against a really tough opponent as well.
Yeah, in a fight that close, you can't be mad. Some the judges zig and zag about the place, and that's why you don't want the judges to be involved in the decision making of who gets their hand raised. If you can, both guys emptied the gas tank over the course of that 3 rounds, and really was trying to hunt for that finish. So big props to those two men. They both have bright futures in terms of the UFC 4 community and overall performances. I expect big things from them, and I know they're going to continue to deliver, but I think this is our moment, Mr. Humble, to move across to 2 absolute savages in and out of the cage, 2 of the nicest people you'll ever meet, unless you're standing across the cage from them, and that is going to be former champion pound-for-pound GOAT EK Trixie, once again returning, trying to get that next title reign on the cards. But he has his work cut out for him. Ginger Ninja, TMF's very own standout prodigy, is coming forward tonight, trying to be the upset of the evening up against EK Trixie, and he's doing this on short notice, which is extra props for this young man.
Yeah, 100%. Never easy taking a short notice fight, but sometimes the easiest thing in the world. You can ask Don Cerrone this and other fighters. Sometimes just getting out of bed, just rolling up, shutting your computer on, having one fight, and then just getting it over and done with. You don't have to think about it. You don't overanalyze. You just go out there and perform. And sometimes that's the best way to do things. So props to Ginga Ninja to do this, and we'll see how it affects his performance against a high level competitor in Trixie. He's one of the best competitors in the world. He is one of the top competitors in the ESFL as well as PrimeTime. He's been up there. He's a former champion, I believe, of the PrimeTime.
That he is, sir. That he is. Primetime champion, 20 straight defenses, currently listed as our pound-for-pound GOAT. Had a little bit of troubles coming back with a very tough matchup up against Keza that we'll see in the next bout, but like, you know, we've seen him too many times to just absolutely steamroll of opponents. I will say that Trixie, though, normally a man that comes alive in the second, third, fourth, and fifth rounds, and much can be said the same about Ginger, so I'm interested to see who's able to take the lead in this first round for two guys that historically start a little bit slower, Humble.
Yeah, but you got somebody who can actually motivate you to start a bit faster, which is Max Holloway right there.
Yeah.
For me, the biggest problem with fighting Aldo, though, is that, you know, if you come forward too much, your body, your legs are going to get chopped up too much. So it's distant management in this one. It's going to be interesting to see how both guys apply themselves with the distance right now, as we see a whiff right there.
Yeah, he went wild for it. He wasn't happy with the oblique kick coming his way from Trixie. Trixie's going to have a lot of range here. He's going to have the cardio. He's obviously not taking Ginger Ninja lightly in this bout. Knows that the motherfucker has all of the skills to pay the bills. This young kid is a prodigy in the making. But once again, he is, he is very, very much finally tuning his skills against some of the best players in the world and trying to make himself known as one of those best players. As you said, this short notice fight may end up playing in his favor there, Humble, because sometimes the nerves gets to him in the first round, you know, of his fights. That's why he's often a slow starter, but not a lot of time to build up nerves in this one. You know, he had this call up about an hour ago, answered it very, very quickly, and now he's in the cage trying to throw down one of the best on the scene.
Both guys dancing right there, front switch kick out of range at the same time. You're going against the Trixie, like you were just saying, they're one of the best competitors in the scene on short notice. It is very difficult, but I am liking what Trixie's doing right now with the in and out movement. Against Ginga, he's controlling and dictating the range, and as I said earlier on, that's kind of the person who's going to control this fight and maybe run away with it at the moment. So I do believe Ginga's going to have to find a way to take away that power that Trixie's got at the moment. He was doing a good job going to the legs quite a bit, and you can see that leg health going down, and that's something that you can kind of use to neutralize that.
Yeah, it's been one of his strategies in previous performances is that leg kick. It adds up very, very quickly and deceivingly so, especially with the calf kicks. Nice slip off for him. I feel like Ginger needs to get very, very active on his feet. Anytime he sees Trixie start to open up with combinations, he needs to basically, you know, pull up his socks and run, in my opinion, and then try to counter him after he's thrown his combination, because Trixie's too clean on them to, you know, to stand there and try and live behind your block or the pull counters, in my opinion. Continuing to maintain this range, continuing to work those kicks, definitely where Ginger is going to have the best success. Obviously, right now, Trixie trying to take that away from him, pressing forward, using a lot of in and out movements, like you said, but when he's in, he's all in. He's not wasting any time, not taking pictures out here, Humble. Make sure to get active with the combinations and then straight back out of that firing zone.
He's doing a good job entering the pocket with his jab at the moment, especially the double jab. As soon as he gets into that pocket, he's then unloading a combination. We talk about rhythm all the time. We literally spoke to Romero and Game Kill the other week about the rhythm, offsetting the rhythm. We spoke to my friend Naveed and saying you got to intercept that rhythm. When someone's about to go 1, 2, 3, you've got to get in there before that one and kind of make sure. And that's something throughout fighting, throughout wrestling, etc., that people use, and Trixie's using it right now just to offset the rhythm of Ginga. Ginga had his moments that round, and he has landed a lot of damage, but the double jab, the jab, has offset the rhythm so far, and he's struggling to kind of gain that back.
Yeah, I think they're both starting out pretty strong in the second round, okay? So look at the statistics, head health, both pretty equal, stamina, basically still full heading into the second round, further accentuating the fact that these two guys are extremely top-level competitors. As I say, that combinations are raining down from Max Holloway right now on the inside. I will say, though, as the second round goes on, these leg kicks, if he continues to go to them, could really, really be problematic. That left leg is probably one of the more compromised zones of any opponent right now.
It's crazy, the stamina from both guys, even though they're through so much as well, which tells me that the block has been getting hit a lot. Obviously, you see the head health, the leg health, etc. Not a lot to the body, not a lot of wasted action to the body, and you know that could really benefit somebody like Aldo, who's got so many different shots. But there's always that problem of getting caught in the pockets on a kick or a knee, and against Trixie that could be deadly. So maybe that's the strategy right now of not kind of doing that. But I'd like to see him kind of risk it for a chocolate biscuit and give something else for Holloway to worry about, because Holloway is teeing off on his head right now. So
and that's what he needed. The power from Jose Aldo gets him down on the mat. The ground and pound is now being pulled on. He's trying to get the finish, but Trixie just about holding on. My God, that was the narrowest of margins, Humble. The previous champ almost had the show stolen from him.
Yeah, sorry about that, Trixie. The commentators just said how well he's doing, and he gets absolutely clobbered by Aldo, but he's on top at the moment. He's in a great position. That's going to swing things a bit. It's also going to give Ginger a bit of confidence, and Trixie right now is trying to take that away from in this position of the side saddle, trying to land some of them beautiful elbows on the head, maybe trying to get a finish right now, maybe.
It's one of the things that people underestimate with Trixie. He's known for being such a fantastic striker, often using the likes of Conor McGregor, Dustin Poirier. But obviously, he also has exceptional ground skills over here, Humble. Wrestling with the likes of Slick Colt, Styles, and the such in his camp, Jakey B. Harambe that we saw earlier on, so many top-level grapplers to get those reps in with. And I think that that's coming, you know, to full fruition this evening. Obviously, there seems to be an advantage for him on the mat. And go into it at this point in the fight, I think, is a very, very smart strategy for him.
Yeah, 100%. And as you were saying about camps are so important in this game. Camps help you kind of... It's basically free sparring, free information from top level people. It'd be stupid kind of not to join a camp with a lot of people, but personality clashes, all different stuff. If you want to join a camp, though, there's so many different ones. You can always look in. The ESFL has a camp roster thing. We have a camp roster. There's all the different leagues have camp areas where you can go and check out the different camps, and you can approach their teams and ask them to join. Usually it's the top players that kind of get the pick of the litter, but there's so many different teams, so many different things, and the benefits are massive. Yeah,
you're right, and you know, there's a lot of tryouts out there, so getting yourself labelled with a great camp is definitely a strong way to go about leveling up your skills. A lot of back and forth action in this fight. Round one was a pick 'em. Look how closely those statistics. One more significant strike for Ginger Ninja in that round, and he gets the stun in the second round. Right now, Ginger Ninja may be ahead, although it doesn't always feel like that during the fight, Humble. Looking at the statistics, at least, it does look like he may be just slightly edging this bout going into the third.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it, certainly from my point of view, from the amount of damage that Holloway has done. But Holloway's going to try, Trixie's going to try to finish this in this round. He's no way wanting to go to the judges, or certainly get some knockdowns. Oh! He hits it right there. We talked about it earlier on, hitting in the pocket, gets him against the fence. Can he finish him?
EK Trixie picking up another big W. This man is on a mission to get back to his belt, as he would say. Tonight had to roll through the very, very dangerous up-and-comer in TMF Ginger, who put on a valiant show. Humble was able to get some great damage off of his own, but the former champ, the pound for pound, best, as we would say from the primetime side of the kind of community, is able to get the job done again. Another big W for this man.
And he put money in the bank, as we'd like to say, in the first and second round. He did great work in damaging the head, the block, etc. Using his combinations well, and mainly making the reads of his opponent. He was caught a few times. You got to take some. You got to take some to give some, and definitely he gives some. And eventually, Aldo's jaw, he just couldn't take too much, and he got to gets caught with a big shot against that fence, and Holloway gets an easy finish, pounding him against that fence. And Trixie did a great job of kind of sticking to the game plan even when he was hurt, not diverting and not becoming predictable with his combinations. What a lot of people do when you start getting hurt, they rely on a lot of the same combinations that got them to the dance in the first place instead of mixing it up. And Trixie, he knows the variety is going to get him ahead, and that's exactly what he used. Variety.
Exactly, brother. Exactly right. A fantastic bout. Once again, moving us on to the next stage of the evening, which is going to be our co-main event of the evening. We're going to be having FSK Keza up against BSD Simple Benny. These two guys, honestly, phenomenal competitors all round. Keza has the uncanny ability to go from 0 to 100 in, like, I don't know, 0.1. This guy really, really has a scary ability to pour on the pressure. He just decides this is the moment your lights are getting switched out, and he seems to find a way to do it each and every time. With that being said, though, Simple Benny, this man's a problem, ground and on the feet, but specifically on the ground, he is a nightmare in those positions there, Humble.
Yeah, definitely. Something I've always noticed about Simple Benny is his positioning. We always talk about distance management, or I do anyway. The distance management is so important in this game. He is somebody who I've noticed who uses his distance management to perfection. Even when he kind of losing the fight, he tries to keep himself away from that second or third or fourth shot, the follow, and then to catch the counter. And he always leaves himself in good positions to counter, and that's something I'll be looking out for, even on the feet. Obviously, he's great on the ground, but on the feet, he's no slouch as well. So this is going to be a really interesting one, because Keza, I remember him from when he won the belt off Trixie, I think it was, and he used that forward pressure and the I wouldn't call it the block breaking, but the combinations against the fence, the beautiful combinations to keep his opponent going backwards and constantly land on him. So we'll see how Keza kind of deals with that. And look at this. We've got a bit of a switch-up right now. We've got Kevin Holland versus Darren Till, a beautiful matchup right now.
Yeah, I agree with you. You don't often see these types of picks. I mean, obviously, Darren Till has exceptional striking, with his kickboxing. Holland is no slouch in his own right, has some heavy hands, some nice boxing of his own, but I feel like edge towards Darren Till with the range in this side may be the deciding factor. However, it is all about how you utilize your guy, right, Humble? It doesn't really matter if you have the reach unless you fight long.
Yeah, you've got to fight, bro. You can't get. It's obviously bad as well if people are good at getting in the pocket, So if someone's good at getting in the pocket and you can't kind of keep him out of that, it doesn't always matter if you can fight long. Sometimes like this right now, Keza, excellent work getting straight into the pocket right there. And Simple Benny's got to deal with that and kind of get himself off the cage using the teeps now. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there.
You're good, brother. But exactly what I was calling to before this fight. I mean, this is what I mean when Keza has the ability to pour on the pressure. We already saw it in the opening 60 seconds. He had his opponent pressed up against the cage, landing some nice combinations every time his opponent zigged. A connecting punch was there for him. But Simple Benny, digging deep, finding counters, looks like he has a point to prove on the feet here this evening. I imagine a takedown attempt will be there for him over the course of the first 3.5 minutes left in this round, should he decide to opt for it. But so far, he seems to be content to throw some bombs out here, Humble, which is a bit of a risky strategy, but half working out for him.
Yeah, we've seen adjustments already in this round. With the first minute of this, we've seen Keza kind of backing up and starting to kind of, sorry, not Keza, Simple Benny backing up and kind of letting Keza kind of lead the dance, and now we're seeing him hold his ground a lot more. He is backing up quite a bit, but we'll see him hold his ground, plant his feet, and then letting it rip, trying to catch Keza coming into the shots rather than constantly moving backwards, because it's harder to land a shot while you're moving backwards than it is planting your feet, and it's more powerful and quicker to do that if you plant it as well. So very smart strategy from Simple Benny right now. Great risk management, really great distance management from him.
Yeah, he needs it as well. I mean, Keza is doing a great job of popping that block. He continues to go for that slip-off straight. I mean, is it the Celtic Cross, I think they call it, from fighters like Darren Till and obviously
Sean O'Malley,
Conor McGregor and the such. When they land, it's such a heavy strike to land. They're a little bit easier to evade, but does such damage anytime you're able to connect on the mark with your opponent. Simple Benny's block and head health definitely having a little bit of a problem, but he's keeping in this fight really nicely at the moment, Humble. He's not wasting a lot of stamina, seems to be doing quite well behind his blocking, other than situations just like that.
Yeah, he's doing a fantastic job of landing his shots and then getting out of there. Something that you get taught in the first day of kickboxing and to the last day of kickboxing is land your hit but don't be hit. Hit but don't get hit, and keep out of that. And you see him put the framework where Keza's doing really well is where he's following him, cutting off the cage, and then managing to catch Simple Benny when Simple Benny's about to go. But so far, this fight is such a technical war. It's a masterclass from both guys.
Agreed. Completely. The head health attacks from Keza definitely starting to add up. Simple Benny continues to attack the body when opportunities present with deep kicks, straights to the body and the such. Nice hook across around the corner, I should say. And once again, like I said, those body attacks, brother, they pay dividends over the course of a fight. So in the first round, both of them go in there very actively, having a lot of damage, being landed to the body, a couple of missed shots added in, and it's good to see your opponent have a bit of a stamina deficit after that first round. It builds a lot of confidence, at least for me. If I was Simple Benny right now, I'd feeling like I might have this fight by the horns, given the fact that I'm ahead in terms of stamina and equal about in every other statistic.
Not too much though, but at the same time, I'm liking the adjustment he made. Simple Benny makes so many adjustments during the fight. I love watching him fight because it's a constant change to adapt to his opponent and see what's working. Now he's starting to lead the dance. Now he's starting to press Darren Till back. As I say that, Darren Till is pressing him back. But you can see he's taking the center of the octagon a lot more than he was in the first round. He was on the back foot a lot more, and he's having a lot more success with it. But Darren Till and Keza is getting through with some of them 4-piece combinations. He's got to be careful, Simple Benny, right now. It's a balance between risk and reward, and so far these guys are trying to weigh up their options, and it's been a great fight.
It really has. Keza seems to be going for slightly the bigger of the, types of strikes that he's deciding to implement. The shot selection, definitely a little bit more on the flashy side with some of the spins that may be helping his cardio start to gas a little bit more, but he's going to be feeling confident about some of that damage that is bleeding through onto the chin of Simple Benny. You can see it right there. The block was gone. Head health was about half of what he has left. The same can be said about Keza, though. A lot of these shots, bleeding through from Simple Benny. Duck elbows from both guys seem to be the strike that they are trying to find the mark for here, but they're having a little bit of difficulty. The range is, a bit difficult when both guys are staying very active on their feet, using a lot of lateral movement there, Humble.
Beautiful work sticking something in his face right there as he came forward from Keza. But Keza landing them 4-piece combos, but he's getting caught with a lot more now from Simple Benny. These guys are showing a lot of respect to each other as well as it's going on, but Keza's got to be careful because now as he catches him with a left hook, straight head kick. Beautiful work, drops his opponent, and he lets him off, which might be a mistake right now. Simple Benny is trying to get this one back. I can't help but think he needs to regroup, get that head health back, and, the block is done. But, he lands a big shot. He's got his opponent backing up. He goes to the body. Great strategy right now, Cyrus.
Yeah, he's been looking for that the entire evening, that pullback elbow. Finding the mark finally for him at the midway point of the second round. His opponent now a little bit more gassed, a little bit, they're equal. I was going to say a little bit worse for wear in terms of the head health, but they're fairly equal in terms of the head health. Still a pick'ems fight at this point, although Simple Benny definitely going to be feeling confident about his odds should they make it to this third round. Although I'm not overly certain that they're going to be honest with you, Humble. I mean, they're throwing such crazy strikes, this could be over at a moment's notice.
Well, this is where where Simple Benny puts his foot on the gas. He knows that first round was probably maybe Keza's round, maybe Keza's round. I'm not quite sure. The second round, obviously, Keza's landed some big shots, and so is Simple Benny. But he's got to think to himself, I've got my opponent's stamina down, I've got his head health down, I've got his body down. I need to put the pressure on because he's going to have less opportunities to land 4-5-piece combinations, which he's been hurting me with. So that's where he starts to fire the singles, fire the off-rhythm shots, and he's catching Darren Till left, right, and centre right now. But what a close fight, what a technical war. This has been fantastic.
Definitely, brother. The first round, as we saw by the statistics, edging the way of Keza. Did not get to see the second round statistics, but we head into the third one, potentially a round apiece going into the third. Like we've seen in many of these fights here this evening, very, very closely contested. A bit lacking from the overall grappling from Simple Benny, which is surprising, but not so surprising when he lands pull counters just like that, Humble, sitting his opponent down for the second time in this bout.
Yeah, keeps them teeps to the body have been fantastic as well. His boxing's been great, but the teeps to the body have been keeping Keza running backwards. Obviously, once he gets to that fence, he can't keep coming forward and firing them shots. It's killing the momentum from Keza at the moment. But Simple Benny is still only one shot from being knocked out. He needs to be careful, and he's controlling this round so far, Cyrus.
He really is. It appears that no clinch Benny is a Benny to fear as he continues to land some beautiful shots on the inside. Keza doing all he can to get back into that flow state, land some big shots. When he's got his opponent pressed up against the cage like this, it's often where he gets his best work done, but the block, the head health, and the stamina definitely playing a bit of an effect on the types of attacks that are available to him at this late stage there, Humble.
Both guys have been fantastic in this fight. Obviously, he's dealing with that battle right now against the stamina, as you were saying, all the way through this. This first round, I kind of dismissed it a bit, but it's coming into fruition in this third round. You were completely right. That stamina is so low right now. It's near the K, and it takes one miss from, but miss, as I was saying right there. And he gets caught, and he's got to be careful. But so is Holland, so is Benny, because he's so dangerous, Keza. He's so dangerous, but he's doing a great job. It's just a great fight to watch. I keep getting lost in what I'm saying.
This is the problem, brother, right? The head health is actually fairly equal. So even though he's having a lot of success right now, and he's pouring on the pressure, sometimes a little bit too much can get you to walk on to a perfect front kick or something down those lines. And especially with the pick of Darren Till, he has so much power in the hands and in the feet that if he's able to time one of those, he could literally rip the rug out from under Holland. But I have to say, Simple Benny seems to be taking a very educated approach. A lot of feints from him here, a lot of teeps. Tends to be leading the fight as well, which is a big thing for him. If he continues to be able to do this, I think he may get the finish, but Keza hanging on, brother.
He might have to. He might need it because it might be 2-1 to Keza. We don't know.
Yeah.
Them two rounds are very, very close. They could, if you said they went to Keza, I'd believe you. So Simple Benny might need the knockout in this round, and he's gonna have to turn up the pressure right now because Keza, although he's hanging on, he had the massive pullback right there, spinning elbow. Holy shit.
Big moment for Keza, but his head health is blinking even when he's not being touched. A simple jab from Holland was able to sit him down for a moment. Hail Mary is on the cards for Keza in the final 20 seconds. And he lands it, the spin elbow from nowhere. My God, brother.
Have another one back, says Simple Benny. This has been an absolute one. Maybe my fight of the night so far as he gets front kick to the face.
Oh my God.
Jesus Christ.
Oh. What a fight to call, what a fight to behold. Wow. I do not know who is getting the victory in this one, but either way, both guys should hold their heads high. What a back and forth war there, Humble. Just a pleasure to call, brother.
100%. That was so much fun. I was losing track. Oh, and it goes to Simple Benny. Great performance. Obviously rallied on later on in the fight. We always talk about that third round being the most important. Maybe that's completely right. 30-27 on one of the judges' scorecards as well. So two of the judges' scorecards. So very interesting. I'd love to see the rounds.
Yeah, I don't know about the 30-27. I think I agree with the nod, though. The second and third round definitely seem to be leaning the way of Simple Benny. Doesn't appear that we're going to get the statistics on it. So we're just going to take a quick moment to bounce onto the... Oh, no, we are. Round one. There you go. So round two, round one. Yeah, I mean, that was such a close fight. Much respect to these guys. Stand up in the chat. Show some love to these two guys putting on another savage war back and forth for our viewing pleasure. Make sure, though, to get your votes in ahead of the next one, Humble, which is the main event of the evening, brother. We're going to be having TD Fadinator, current Xbox champion, stepping up against one of EK's finest in EK Warbsy. I cannot wait to see these two genius UFC 4 players throw down in the bantamweight division, brother.
It's going to be a great fight. I don't know who to bet on. That's the question. It's going to be a fantastic fight, and obviously... these guys have been at the top for so long, both in fantastic camps. The camps is what makes these guys so good, as well as their own attributes and their own skills. Camps make people into better players. That we were talking about it earlier on. The EK team is so vast with so many good players. You need help with your grappling, you go to XYZ. You need help with your striking, you go to XYZ. Or you want to stop knee spammers, you go to XYZ. There's so many different... Someone's got an answer to everything, and that's kind of how you deal with it. I mean, your Wobsy, you go train with Trixie. You know, it's like this, or Harumbe. There's so many different players you can play, and the same with Fadinator. So these guys have got so many people behind them supporting them, and so many people behind them helping them try and drive their own success, that when they fight each other, it's just a clash of the titans every single time. And that's what we've got in our main event right now in the bantamweight division, one of the most competitive divisions. But we do have a little bit of a record there, which I always find interesting.
You know, we've said it time and time again, right? It's different under the bright lights, but it does give you an indication about who's maybe the better player, you know, on their own day or on their average day. But it's all about who can step up to the mark when the time is right. And the time is right now, brother. The time is right now. Bantamweight is the weight class. The champion has no intentions of losing his belt. The challenger, of course, is going to do everything he can to secure that victory. It's going to be another great matchup. Peter Yan, Rob Font. Wouldn't expect too much different in this situation, especially with the title implications on the line. You want to go with some of those stronger picks. Excuse me.
Yeah, we were talking about earlier on in the decision making of the picks. It's important that you pick some of the best characters in the game. And here we go. Rob Font on the right. Peter Yan on the left, and Fadinator comes out as Peter Yan and just absolutely nails his opponent right there, standing in the pocket. Both guys firing out. Warbsy needs to be careful of getting caught too much. He doesn't want to get shot out straight away, Cyrus, and get knocked out very early on in the fight.
Yeah, maybe he feels like this is his best strategy for a victory. Fadinator obviously has fought his opponent a minimum of 3 times in the past, getting the victory in each and every time. And maybe the remedy to that success with that forward pressure and combination he's starting to land right now. Intelligently just being out of the way, Humble, on returning strikes, and then stepping right back into the fire, marching forward with some beautiful bombs. I'm loving what I'm seeing from the champ right now.
He's got to be super careful. For Wobbs, he's got to be very, very careful of throwing kicks at the out distance right there. Just as I said, he gets cracked because Fadinator is not only catching him, he's damaging the block significantly, which can play super effective later on. This is a 5-round fight. If he continues to do that, he's going to have no chance later on to kind of defend himself, and Fadinator's kind of going to run away with it. So Wobbs is going to make that change right now, otherwise he's going to get caught and it's going to become too apparent for Fadinator to hurt his block.
Yeah, and the intelligent thing that Fadinator's doing now, he notices he's at a bit of a stamina deficit, started to attack the body, although Font is now starting to find a home for some of those counters. Nice double jab into a body straight. The back and forth action is non-stop at the moment, Humble. I feel like I can't take a breath without these guys throwing a punch at the other's dome.
Yeah, 100%. And Wobbsy's starting to land his time, and now he's kind of abandoned some of the kicks that he was kind of getting caught with, especially because he was getting pressed back. You know, and we're seeing Fadinator come through with some of the kicks right now. I'm wondering if Wobbsy's going to try and time that. But Wobbsy's just got to be careful with the time, and so is Fadinator. Great block on the takedown right there. He's going to push him back to the fence. And this is just a battle of position, a battle of who's throwing the correct shots at the correct times. And so far, Fadinator's kind of done a better job going into the end of this round. But it's starting to swing towards Rob Font as he lands a big shot right there, Cyrus.
Such narrow margins. You can see it just being on display. You know, that one perfect straight that's bleeding through, often catching his opponent just at the perfect range. Right now we're seeing the champion just saying, I want 2 3-punch combinations. I'm standing in your face. And the rip to the body just to add the cherry on top. You've got to love to see it. This damage all starting to have a massive accumulative effect on EK Wobbsy as he is trying to answer back with some nice shots of his own.
Yeah, he's doing a great job of kind of countering him at times. The problem he's got is when he's kicking, he's not really setting up his kicks really well, and Fadinator's seeing them from a distance and then firing back immediately as he catches him right there. Oh, he's getting pushed back. This could be it right now. Jan is coming forward. He's going to push his opponent back towards that fence, and this is where he does the most damage.
One of the things that Fadinator does so well is get that killer instinct, but this time he gets caught overextending for that finish. Wobbsy emptied the gas tank to try and pour on the pressure. They are now back to a moment's reset, and a nice little bow from the champion, showing some respect at the end of that round. Excellent main event we have ahead of us. The first round is in the bag, potentially 4 more on the cards, and I think that both guys having large amount of success so far, Humble, although a little bit leaning towards the champion at this stage. I think he got just about that little bit extra, as you see, with the knockdown.
Yeah, who said 5-round fights as a champion? Like 5-round fights, no chance, absolutely zero chance. Even though the stamina doesn't look too bad, their head health, everything from both guys is absolutely shot to bits. So this one's it's going to be over in the next 2 rounds. I'm telling you right now, do not take your eyes off the prize, ladies and gentlemen, because this could go either way.
As you call it, my man. Jan sits him down once again, the champion trying to get the finish. EK Wobbsy, such a veteran, he's moving his head just at the right times to evade some of the finishing shots that would normally put a man, you know, face down on the canvas. This is such narrow margins right now. I don't know which way the pendulum's gonna swing, but either way, one of these guys are likely to get their hand raised over the next 10 minutes.
Beautiful combination. It could be it.
Next 10 minutes. What about the next 10 seconds, brother? What about the next 10 seconds?
I did say this round, this fight was not going to go any more than 2 rounds. I meant 2 minutes, but you know these guys they came out at such a ferocity in the first round. You could just feel it right now. But Jan's on top, and he's going to try and do some damage from this position. Fadinator pushes up. This could be it right now. He's going to go for the ground and pound. He needs 1 or 2 big shots right now.
That's it. And still, I had to double check. And still, the champion TD Fadinator gets the job done in a I mean, this was a different type of approach from him, Humble. He really didn't waste any time here this evening. He normally is a little bit more reserved in that first round, likes to find his openings, but seems like he knew what openings he was looking for here this evening and pulled a bang bang on us, marched forward. throughout that forward momentum, pressure, combinations, was able to get EK, off his game, and was able to get his hand raised. An impressive performance from the champion, and a great fight to, end out a phenomenal card all round, brother.
Yeah, 100%. It's been a great card, absolutely fantastic card. Everyone kind of delivered. It was a shame about the first one, but as we started moving through the card, we had some just fantastic fights, fantastic performance, individual performances. We had two brothers trying to compete with each other in trying to get finishes. Moving all the way through the skill level of the Yeeter Kissers and the LFC short notice fights coming in, picking Wildlands to the main event, to the title fight. And Fadinator did such a great job. And as you mentioned, Bang Bang, he did come into the chat and said, good luck, so I'm wondering if he's been training with Bang Bang for this fight, and kind of just thought, fuck it, we're going to go balls to the wall and we're going to try and get my AK Wobbsy out there super quick. And he probably caught Wobbsy by surprise as well. When someone comes at you in that velocity and they're saying, oh, you think you can duck 136 shots around? Go for it.
Yeah,
it's difficult, especially with the dexterity in his striking. He threw a left hook straight, uppercut straight at the end to kind of end that combination, and that's such a complex combination to throw. And he threw it a few times, but then he was mixing it up with the straight uppercut straight, and there's a few different things, and how do you predict which one's coming? You can't. You've got to be out of the way. You've got to use your movement. You've got to use your counters, counter the first shot or counter the second shot, and if you don't counter them two, you're screwed. So great job from Fadden there. Sorry, Cyrus.
No, you're good, bro. No, you're absolutely right, my man. I want to take a couple of moments, housekeeping notes, if you will. Shout out to each and every single one of the competitors, short notice and otherwise. You guys have put on a phenomenal night of fights, start to finish, for our viewing pleasure. Cards would not be possible without you absolute savages stepping up each and every time out here. Want to take a moment to thank every single one of you for helping us reach one of our most recent goals, which was the 600 follower mark on Twitch. We've now surpassed that, so PrimeTime 36, making history in multiple ways. Obviously, shout out for all the raids, the likes, and all the love that you have been showing. We are now going to be pushing forward a raid to one of the best in the community, Cody Dank, who's going to be watching the fights, I would imagine, doing one of his fight companions. Make sure to join the raid. Make sure to show the love when you get across there. But from myself, Humble, and the PrimeTime family, we'll see you on Monday. Much love.
Bye.